Yeah, we got a big game coming up here between the Melbourne Storm and the Manly Seagulls, and we are on. Hey guys, how you going? So down BK Sport. We have got to absolutely rush through these two team lineups because the Storm versus Manly game is about to start. We just finished up with an absolute cracker between the Canterbury Bulldogs and the Dragons, where the Dragons just did an absolute pure Dragons-esque thing in the last few seconds, and the Dogs won 20-18. And earlier on today, we saw the Raiders get a big win over the Eels, 40-16, despite being down 16-12 at halftime. They came back and won that game quite well. So the favourites are winning right now in today's games, but this is a big game between two teams that Manly are fighting for their survival in the top 8 area. The Storm are fighting to stay into second position, but also to keep themselves alive for the potential of the minor premiership there with the Raiders. It's all on right now. Sorry guys, I am still sick as you guys know, so I will mute myself from time to time, but obviously hit that like button and subscribe. Let's absolutely punch through these two team lineups later, and then we'll get into the chat and see what you are saying. Alright, so the Melbourne Storm, they come to this game from second position. The Manly Seagulls come to this game from 9th position. I have to actually clarify, Storm are currently in third after that Dogs win. This is at Amy Park in Melbourne. The ins here for the Storm, massive. Cameron Munster and Xavier Coates, with the outs being Jonah Pezzett and Kane Bradley. The fullback is Nick Meaney, with the wingers being Grant Anderson and Xavier Coates. Centres are Jack Howarth and Joe Chan, who moves in from the 18th man into the centres. Grant Anderson actually moved from the centres to the wing as well. Now you got the 5'8", which is Cameron Munster. The halfback, Jerome Hughes, with the front row forwards being Josh King, who was originally the 10, now is the 8, and Tui Kamikamica comes in off the bench. He is now the starting prop alongside Josh King. And then Harry Grant is the captain and hooker. Back row, Sean Bloor and Elias Katoa, with Trent Loiero as the lock. Stefano Utukamanu on the bench, was originally starting, now he's on the bench alongside Tyron Wishart, Nelson Asafa-Solomona and Ativalu Lasati, with the 18th man replacement being Bronson Garlick, and Craig Bellamy is the coach. So strong lineup there for the Storm. Let's move now into the Manly Seagulls. The ins, Aaron Shupmeister, with the outs being Michael Cheekham. The fullback is Lehigh Hopewade. Wingers are Jason Saab and Ruben Garrett. Centres of Tolotau Kuala and Tom Trebojevic. You go to the 5'8", which is Luke Brooks. The halfback is Daly Cherry Evans, who is the captain, with the front row forwards being Matthew Lodge and Sisiwa Takiaho, alongside Jazz Tavanga in the hooker. Back row, Corey Waddle and Ben Trebojevic, with the 13 being Jake Trebojevic. Then the interchange is Jake Simpkin, Tommy Talau, Ethan Bullimore and Tolfo Sipley. The 18th man replacement is Aaron Shupmeister, and Anthony Seibold is the coach. Game is very close to getting underway here. I am tipping the Storm 1-12. I can see why people want to say 13 plus to the Storm. But at the end of the day, this is the peak end of the season. This is where teams need to win, and this game is much more important for Manly to win than Melbourne, but I just can't see Manly being able to win it. So I think Manly will be up for it, just like why I tipped the Dogs 1-12 in the last game for the same purpose of the Dragons alongside Manly. I tipped the Dogs 1-12. A lot of people thought 13 plus, but I thought the Dragons would be up for it. They proved that, and I think the Manly will be up for this. But yeah, I'll still say the Storm down there at Amy Park in Melbourne. And this Manly team has a really, really tough run home for the back end of the season, which we'll see if we can get into in a few moments after I go through the ladder, if we have time. But I'll take Storm 1-12. Now, for the Storm on the table, they are currently actually in third, not in second. The Dogs won their game. So the Storm are on 30 points. The Dogs are on 32 points. But the Storm have a plus 220 points differential. The Dogs have a plus 98 points differential now. So if the Storm win this game, they would go into second, and they would finish off in second for the round. If the Storm lose this game, they will be staying in third position because their points differential is so good, 220. But the Warriors are on 28 points with plus 31. If the Storm lose and the Warriors win, the Warriors would tie with the Storm on the 30 points. However, the Warriors' points differential is far below. So if the Storm lose, they will finish in third. If the Storm win, they will finish in second. Simple as that. But if the Storm lose this game, for me, I just don't feel like they could be in the minor premiership race because they'd be 4 points behind the Raiders. They've already played all their buys, whilst the Raiders still have a bye, and there's 6 rounds to go. On the other side of the table, this is huge for Manly. Manly sit in 9th position currently on 22 points. They are equal with the Dolphins and the Roosters. They've got a plus 58, Dolphins plus 169, and the Roosters on plus 8. The Dolphins and Roosters games have already played. The Sharks, who are just above them on 24 points, they've already played and won. They're on plus 21. So if Manly win this game here today, they would go above the Dolphins into the top 8, and they would go above the Cronulla Sharks into 7th position because their points differential is already 37 points better than the Sharks. And they would find themselves finishing up in 7th position for the weekend. If they lose this game, they'd have to lose by 50 points to go below the Roosters. That's not happening, so they will be sitting in 9th position. If they lose by 50 points to Melbourne, their season's definitely done. Like, I don't see with their run home, them finding a way to fix themselves after a 50-point loss to the Melbourne Storm. So I would pretty much nearly count them out. They're not mathematically at all counted out, but I'm just saying, based off of that, plus their points differential, and plus their current situation as it is, I would say that Manly would be out. So they have to win this game, and if they lose it, just make it a close loss, mate. Just make it a close loss here. Give it a real red-hot crack is what I say. But they will finish off in 9th regardless, I would assume. But there we go, guys. That's the update of the ladder and also the two teams for today's game. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Manly are out in the field. Storm are coming out now. I'm going to quickly run you through the Manly run home, which is why I'm so nervous for them in the back end. So Manly today, they play the Melbourne Storm. Then next week, they play the Canterbury Bulldogs away from home. The week after, they play the Roosters. Then they play the Raiders in Canberra. They play the Raiders in Canberra. So across the next 4 weeks, they played the Melbourne Storm away, the Bulldogs away, and the Raiders away. That's the top 3 teams in the competition away from home in the next 4 weeks, including this one. Then after that, they play the Tigers away, which isn't too tough. But then they play the Dolphins, who are flying right now. That's a huge 4-point game there. 2 points for the winner, and you're taking away 2 points from a big competitor at the top 8. Then they play the Dragons, and then they play the Warriors, and they're the other team in the top 4. So Manly have a very, very tough run home. You need to start competing right now. The Dogs are very much beatable next week. I know Dogs fans will hate me saying that, but it's true. You are very beatable right now. The Dragons probably should have, but they were just ridiculous in the end of that game. Just absolutely ridiculous. But the Dogs are very beatable, but I still think the Dogs would probably be my favourites to go into that game, unless Manly do obviously win this game here in Melbourne, which would be a big key telling point for their back end of season. But like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get into the chat. The game has not kicked off yet. It's about to kick off right now, and let's get going. Let's get it going. Jeez, I'm so looking forward to this sickness being done, but so looking forward to it. But all right, Melbourne, kick it off. And it will be Manly receiving the ball here from 5 metres out. Cherry Evans gives it off to Takiaho. And they'll be at the 15. All right, Odd Poppet says, thanks for the heads up. My phone was telling me the game was still live. I've been watching the France-New Zealand game, so my head is in a different time zone. What are you talking about? Who? What? Elijah Wilson says, how's it going, bro? Good, man. It was a great game between the Dragons and the Bulldogs. Very, very good game. Very enjoyable game to watch. 4 tackle here for Manly at the 33. You just got to love rugby league. You just got to love rugby league, mate. This season's just given. This season is just giving so much. There is so much entertainment value here. 5th tackle for Manly. They'll be at the 50. Like you're seeing the Dragons put up an effort. You're seeing even the Eels put up an effort against the Raiders before getting absolutely whooped. You're seeing a really tight wooden spoon battle right now. There is a tight wooden spoon battle between the Titans, the Rabbitohs, the Eels, the Knights, the Cowboys. Those teams are all in red-hot chance of getting the spoon. And then, you've got the Raiders, the Storm, the Bulldogs, and the Warriors all fighting it out real hard. I've got the Warriors out of the minor premiership race, but those 4 teams fighting it hard for the top 4. Raiders, Storm, Bulldogs fighting it out hard for that minor premiership. And then you've got the top 4 battle of the Warriors, the Broncos, and the Panthers right now. Technically, you could include the Sharks there if you really want to, because they're only 4 points behind, especially if the Warriors lose tomorrow to the Knights. So there's a huge lot going around that top 4, and then that top 8 battle of the... Oh, here we go. Oh, geez, that's a bad mistake there for the Storm, and Manly going to get the ball at the 30. A huge mistake from Melbourne. 0 tackle here for Manly, and now it's going to be first tackle, 25 metres out from the line. I'm going to update the score because someone for the first time in their entire life has reminded me to update the score. So there we go. Thank you very much, Jay Hayes, for the first time in history. And that's going to be a penalty here. A penalty to Manly. I think they go for the 2 here. I reckon they go for the 2. Knowing Manly, I reckon they go for the 2. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So Manly will take the 2 here off a illegal steal penalty. They will take the lead. But then, you got that top 8 battle, which is still the Panthers. I would probably remove the Broncos from a top 8 battle, but they are only 4 points away. No, I will include the Broncos. Broncos are in a top 4 battle right now, but they're also in a top 8 battle where teams can jump them still. But that bye came at a pretty good time for them. Trent Lewis Fan Club says, still can't get over the bunker call last game. Thought it was atrocious. Which one? Are you saying the bunker call for the no try for the Dragons, or the bunker call where they said that it was a... there was one in the second half with the overturned knock-on call? Is that the one? Yeah, where he played the ball before he got up to his feet, but they still said that it was fine and it was actually a penalty? That was ridiculous. Yeah, the old yellow collar of Melbourne Storm, Olivia. Old Poppet says, Manly won't do what my bunnies have done. What have your bunnies done? Your bunnies done jet. What's the bunnies done? Bunnies? Where did bunnies come into this? So Ruben Garrick here from 20 metres out. He should be getting this kick. And Manly will go up 2-0. They will go up 2-0, no problem for Ruben Garrick. And slip, slap, sloppity, slip. That is penalty. So 2-0, Manly. I just want to log in. Oh, there you go. Benjamin says, Raiders have very easy run home, definitely minors. I agree. I've said that for a long time, though. I did mention about 4-6 weeks ago the Raiders win the minor premiership. I think even before that, because their run home was always ridiculous and their first half of the season was tougher than their back half by a long way. All right. So the Storm will kick it off here to Manly. 1 metre out even their own line. They give it to Takiaho, and he's going to bring it out here to the 13 first tackle. Lucas says, I know you like Union Blades. Who's winning Lions or Wallabies? I know not league. One sec. I back in my Wallabies. I really do. I back in my Wallabies. I think the British and Irish Lions have been okay on this tour, but nothing too spectacular. So I don't know how it'll go. I haven't been able to really watch a great deal of rugby union recently, but I back in my Wallabies. I think they've got an opportunity. Forward tackle now for Manly at the 35. Sherry Evans, he'll give it to Waddle, and Waddle's going to be 35 metres out from his own line for tackle. Levy says, Craig is not happy already. Craig's never happy. Craig wins games by 50, and he's not happy. The only times Craig is happy is when, no, it's never happened before. Never happened. So the Storm now at the 35, first tackle. Lions game hasn't started yet. Yeah, let's move this chat off of the rugby. Obviously, we're here for the rugby league at the moment. Sato says, I swear as soon as I put on the game, the first face I see is Bellamy. Yep, that is a Melbourne Storm game. That is a Melbourne Storm game. Third tackle. You can't watch a Melbourne Storm game without the camera footage always going to Craig Bellamy. Good evening, BKR community. Get around your Nick Hill. So fourth tackle at the 40, and it's going to be Harry Grant who goes right-hand side off the Loiero. Loiero to Jerome Hughes. Hughes, short ball to Elliott Katoa, but he'll be taken down at the 33. Jacob says, who do you think wins and by how? I've got Melbourne 1-12. I think Manly are fighting for their season. Not like dire straits. It's not do or die, but I think they're fighting for their season. No, Storm knock it back here. And it's... Oh, Luke Brooks, you are off your rocker, Luke Brooks. Oh, he's giving away 6 again, Luke Brooks. Oh, that's insane to put your hand out at that. That is insane to put your hand out at that, Luke Brooks. Jerome Hughes on 0 tackle to Josh King. There was no reason Luke Brooks needed to throw his hand out at that ball just then. First tackle now for the Storm, 10 metres away. Harry Grant goes out to Munster. Munster short ball to Sean Ballor, and Sean Ballor is 5 metres out. I can't believe Luke Brooks has touched that ball. That's a decision. Not a decision I think many would make, but it's a decision for sure. Kami Kamitha, big toss of Vitti. He gets the ball out the back now, and Manly will get the ball at the 15. Manly diving the ball. Jacob, I've already replied to you, mate. I already said Storm 1-12. I think Manly will be up for it, but Storm win. Benjamin says Storm will run away with this game 20+. I can see it well when that happens, but I disagree. I think when you've got a team fighting for their season, like look at that Dragons Bulldogs game. I said what I said for the Bulldogs Dragons game is the exact same thing I'm saying for this game. Bulldogs Dragons is a rivalry, big rivalry that goes back years and years and years. Melbourne and Manly is a rivalry which goes back years and years and years. Melbourne top of the table area, Bulldogs top of the table area. Both the Bulldogs and the Storm at home. Both very good defenses. Going up against teams where the Dragons are literally fighting for their season, do or die, and they died. And Manly aren't do or die, but they're fighting for their season on the edge of the top 8. They're in 9th position right now, or maybe even 10th. So the point of the matter is that this Manly team will fight tooth and nail to get this win. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I can see a world it happens. But this is getting real nerve-wracking for them because over the next 4 weeks, they play the Storm, the Roosters, the Bulldogs, and the Raiders. In the next 4 weeks, those 3 games against the top 3 of the Storm, the Bulldogs, and the Raiders are all away from home at a core stadium for the Dogs at Amy Park. Oh, that's a huge hit there. That's a massive hit from Xavier Coates on Lee Harper White at the 10. Now Manly will be second tackle at the 13. Amy Park for Melbourne, a core stadium against the Bulldogs, and GIO Stadium against the Raiders. So, good luck to you, Manly. Deary me. Deary me. Let's go to Storm. Aloy says, well, 4th tackle now. 4th tackle for Manly, and Manly will get this ball out to the 35. I'd actually like to see I'd actually like to see Manly win this. Like, I don't really care at the end of the day. My dad's been in hospital this week, so like, I'd like to see him happy because he's a Manly fan and whatnot. But like, overall, I'd just like to see that top 8 battle maintain, because if Manly lose here today, it's going to be a real telling point. Depending on how much they lose by, it'll be a real telling point about the back end of the year. And at the end of the day, I want competitive games to this back end. So Manly winning would be huge for that top 8 battle. Third tackle now for Melbourne, and they'll be at the 25. And Melbourne's points differential is so solid that they are guaranteed top 4. And storm away. Nick Meaney at the 50, the 40. Oh, slipped over. 4 tackle at the 38. Great run through the line there, though. And Melbourne get this ball. Oh, jeez, that was bad passing. And it's a knock on. Yeah, knock on from Melbourne. Melbourne knock on. So 10 minutes gone here, 30 minutes to go of the first half. Manly up 2-0. Hit that like button and subscribe. Justin says, nah, Manly losing is huge for the top 8 battle. What? Excuse me? You bloody Roosters fan. Mate, I know you want Manly to lose, but at the end of the day, that is completely incorrect in regards to Manly losing is better for the top 8 battle. Yeah, as a Roosters fan, yeah, I get you now, but for everybody else looking in from like as a neutral, it's better for Manly to win here to make it more exciting. But bro, let's be honest, I don't think the Roosters deserve to be making the top 8 this year. You know, the fact that they've been able to muster up a challenge is commendable. It's commendable, but the Roosters shouldn't be making the top 8 this year, mate. You're not getting past the first week, and if you get past the first week, you're going to get punched by 40 in the second week. And that's not me trying to insult you, that's just me saying the Roosters give up ridiculous. I don't know if you completed a set in the last 20 minutes last night. And that's an honest truth. I do not know if the Roosters completed a single set in the last 20 minutes of last night's game against the Sharks. And we all know how the Sharks have gone so far this year. 4 tackle now, and it's going to be Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans at the back now to Lee Hapawade. And Hapawade at the 30. 25 metres out now, fit tackle. But tell me I'm wrong, Sundo. If you believe I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. And now Cherry Evans, he'll put that ball up into the corner. Jason Saab knocks it back. But Munster picks it up, and no, it's going to be a penalty to Manly. Penalty Manly, 10 metres out. Penalty Manly, 10 metres out. Oh, boy. Justin Summers says, fair, but I would still like to scrape in. Why? Even if we aren't going to be that competitive once we make it. I would say that for a lot of teams, that mentality is okay. I think it's that thought process, and again, not having to go here, but that thought process is very much like I want a pity spot in the top 8. And it's like, I don't think the Roosters ever, with their culture, should be thinking I want a pity top 8. Like, I think that if you make the top 8, it might even be more embarrassing for you long term. That's a penalty. 6 again. It may even be a little bit more embarrassing long term, but I also understand the notion of just being in there because at least you can say you were there. That's a double movement. What are you doing, Lehigh? I told Takwala, that was ridiculous. That's a double movement. I don't even know what he's doing there. In a rebuilding year, I'll take a P top 8. I just don't think the Roosters as a culture should ever be aiming for a petty top 8, but like I can understand the thought process. I just personally disagree with it. I think Titans and Tigers and Knights and all those teams think like that, but that's why I'm saying, like, you're bringing the Roosters mentality. That mentality is kind of coming in aligned with the Titans and Tigers and Knights and all those kind of teams, and I'm like, I don't know if you'd want to be compared with them. But the Storm now will be at the 45 on first tackle. Alois says, where are the Warriors sitting on the table? Aloy, second tackle at the 50. Aloy, I'm gonna give you something that you might not like to hear, but it doesn't take rocket science right now. You didn't need a rocket science degree to look at the ladder literally to my left, your right. It doesn't take a rocket science degree. Like, the ladder is right there every single game. Every single game. Every single one. So, 4th tackle at the 25. They're not hidden. Jerome Hughes at the back now to Munster. Munster here to... Oh, they nearly broke through. Jack Howarth gets it offloaded to Harry Grant. And now Jerome Hughes. And Jerome Hughes... Oh, nearly an intercept by Tolatakwala, but Melbourne gets 6 again. It's going to be passing to Manly, and they'll just give no advantage, and Melbourne's ball at 15. Not the old rocket science. Jacob says, the Roosters' best and worst is worlds apart. Yeah, I agree. But it says she might need to go Specsavers. Yeah, it's like we do have a ladder every single stream here, dude. Have a ladder righty. Just righty. So Melbourne, 15 metres out. And Harry Grant, he'll wait it, give it off to Munster. Munster gives it across here to Howarth, and Howarth 10 metres out. That's going to be a penalty here to the Storm, and I reckon they take the 2. I reckon they'll take the 2 and make it 2-2. It'd be interesting if they go for the try, but I think they'll go for the 2. Someone says, at this stage, though, if we do make the 8, we are going to have to beat some big teams, so it might not really be a pity top 8 if we do make it. I think that regardless, you get knocked out first or second week, though. So, they're not going to go for the penalty. They're just going to go for the scrum. All right, 15 metres out. 2 penalties apiece in the first 15 minutes here. Harry Grant to Jerome Hughes. Jerome Hughes, 5 metres out. I'm saying pity top 8 based on the fact that... But then again, anyone who makes 8th and 7th usually is a bit of pity because it's like they get knocked out first or second week. Predominantly first week. But like there's certain teams' mentality that will appreciate that, whilst there's certain teams that I don't necessarily believe. But Xavier Coates here. Try time for the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm will score a try on the wing. And it is 4-2 to Melbourne through Xavier Coates, the Papua New Guinean flyer. Big Papua New Guinea. Xavier Coates, big time. Slapped it up. Storm twice in the run home is crazy. That is wild, Sunder. But that pass from Munster to Xavier Coates was incredible, and it is now 4-2 with a kick to come. Broncos have the Storm twice too. The Broncos are not guaranteed for a top 8 position yet, man. Broncos fans are thinking they're going to win the comp. They haven't actually guaranteed themselves a top 8 spot yet. They're too focused on being a top 4 team when they haven't even focused on the fact that they're not even a top 8 team yet. Because they are currently only 4 points away from the Dolphins. They do, like you said, play the Storm twice. They have not been great despite winning. They haven't been great in their games, but they've been winning their games. But they do have a very easy next 2 games where they should beat the Eels and they should beat the Rabbitohs. But then they play the Storm. They play the Dolphins. Oh, they do actually have a relatively easy run home besides the Storm, Dolphins, and Storm again. Maybe they actually have got the 8. Eels, Rabbitohs, Knights and Cowboys. If the Broncos don't make the 8, there's problems. But they should. They will lose both those games to the Storm. They always lose to Melbourne. Dolphins going to be interesting, but I do think Dolphins probably still get up. But it is a local derby. Eels gave it a good crack against the Raiders today for the most part, however. So maybe the Eels give them a good go next week. Look, if I'm a Broncos fan, I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, no, there's been a lot of errors. They're very similar to the Roosters in a lot of ways, where they make a lot of errors, but they still win games. The Roosters just didn't beat the Sharks, but outside of that, for the most part, they win games when they make a lot of errors. So the Melbourne Storm will get the conversion. It is 6-2 with 24 minutes to go here of the first half. 6-2. Alphonse says, Bird of Paradise, Bio, Papua New... What? I don't know what's happening there. That Munster pass was incredible. The Munster pass was incredible. I might quickly grab a Diet Coke. It's called a Coke. It's called Coke Light, but I'm going to grab it. Give me 1 second here, guys. 1 sec. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't get it when I was in the break, like the literal 4-minute break in between streams. So I get it now. So second tackle here for the Storm. They're at the 15. 23 minutes in, and Will Warbrick. No, not Will Warbrick. Deary me. Who was that just then? He looked like Will Warbrick. To be fair, Will Warbrick's still out injured, isn't he? That was Joe Chan, sorry, from afar. I don't know why it looks similar. All right, so it's going to be Melbourne with the ball at the 15 on 4 tackle. Jeez, not a good set here from Melbourne at all. Not a good set at all. And that ball's going to go straight down to Lehigh Pawade at the 25. And now he's at the 35. And he'll bring it out to about the 40. But then get taken back into the 30. Good work there by Munster and Sean Bloor. Josh King didn't really do too much there, but at least he was kind of involved. So Cherry Evans, he'll get off to Garrick. And Garrick now will be at the 40 on second tackle. 57% possession to the Storm so far. 43% to Manly. And now Tom Trbojevic, he'll get this ball to the 45. Game's a bit weird right now. It's like Manly aren't performing badly, but it's not like they're doing anything spectacular with the ball at the moment. Fit tackle at the 33. Whilst the Storm have kind of been going through the motions too, but they scored that pretty nice try down that right side with Munster and Coates. Manly put it up in the air. The ball's going to be allowed to bounce. It's going to be dropped by the Storm, but they're going to be last tackle hander. So it must have been a knock on from Manly somewhere. I didn't see it, but sure. Sure. Do you understand the thought process that I'm saying, though, Sundo? Again, I'm not insulting the Roosters, and I'm not insulting what you guys have done, because I tipped you for fourth last this year, and you've done pretty well to be up there and competing. But, like, that's not the point that I'm kind of trying to converse. And now third tackle here at the 30. 20 minutes gone here in the first half. 20 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe. Halfway through the first half of a big game for both these teams, especially with that Dogs team winning. I actually need to quickly update that ladder as well so that we can see the Bulldogs in their place. And Jerome Hughes there, that was nice. He gives it off to Joe Chan. Fit tackle here, 35 metres out. Let me fix this. Get that ladder going right. And now the Storm will knock it back, and then they're going to knock it on. It's going to be Manly ball, but they knock it on as well. So it's just going to be brought back out here to the 15 for fresh set for Manly. All right, let me fix this ladder over here, and I'm going to have to move a couple of fraud alerts around. There's that one. All right, so let's move this one back up here because they didn't do enough to get off of fraud alert. The Sharks are on fraud alert. We'll go here, though. Move that bad boy across there. Manly definitely there. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. Oh, Biffo! Slap him up again! Slap, slap, slap! Punch the bish. Someone throw something, you cat. Someone throw something. And Roosters are definitely there too. Bit of a biffo here. There is a lot of weight between these two guys if they punch on. There we go. All right. Couple of fraud alerts. Had to shift around. I think they've called a penalty here to Manly, though. Brocky says grab his dick and twist it. The old dick twist. The old dick twist. Unfortunately, Cedric Storm only has one S, not two. No, only one S, not two. Yeah, Matt Lodge is shoved into Kamikametha afterwards, but it is a penalty to Manly with 20 minutes left. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, I suppose. Yeah, you damn well better, mate, Sundo. When have I ever been wrong? Never. Remember that time I was wrong? Nah, never. Never heard of it. Wait, how we fraud alert? You had us bottom four. Was busy for a second in case you explain it because you lost to a Sharks team that was on scam. You scamming frauds. What do you think, mate? Hey, what do you think this is? You think this is just a kick around or something? It's serious channel. It's serious business here, Sunday. You need to get used to it. 4 tackle here at the 25. You lost to a scam and scammers. To be fair, you've been teeter-tottering on it for a while, but you've just been winning enough games to avoid it. Lehigh Pawade gives it off to Tolatakwala. 10 metres out. Taken down, fit tackle. Great run, though. He'll give it off to Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans dinks a little grubber underneath. It's a good kick. It's going to be a dropout. Munster gets through to knock it dead, and it will be a dropout coming up. So this is Battle of Brookie. Mate, give us a game where we actually see some handbags thrown. Desmond says, huge shout out to the Dragons. Thanks for being the Tiz. Okay, I can't read that. But thanks for being not a good team in the NRL. Yeah, Daz, I'm not going to lie. You didn't do enough to take yourself off fraud alert because you probably didn't deserve to win that game. But because the Dragons are the Dragons, you did win that game. So I'll give you that. I couldn't believe that dropout. I just couldn't believe that short dropout. But that's going to be a knock-on from the Storm off the dropout. It's going to be 5 metres out here from the line for Manly. Ben Trbojevic, 0 tackle. Jarrius is up the Titans. Get around in first place right now. They're flying, Jarrius. They're flying. First tackle here, 10 metres away, Takiaho. Jazz Tavanga here for Manly. He's going to go out to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans to Bullimore, and Bullimore to the 5. I'd actually, as a Titans fan, I think that if anything, if we started getting rid of players, I wouldn't mind a bit of Bullimore action on the Gold Coast. I think he's underrated. Third tackle now, 3 metres out. Johan says, love your channel, mate. Great subscriber. Appreciate you, Johan. Get around here, mate. Jazz Tavanga off to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans hit Lee Hapawade. Tom Trbojevic right inside. Jason Saab. Booshka. That's a punch in the mouth of the Melbourne Storm. And nice work from Tom Trbojevic to get around the tackle and then get the pass away to Jason Saab, who had an open run to the try line. Slap. It's a beautiful try there. And it all came off the back of that dropout. And then the 0 tackle. And then Manly just found a way down this right-hand side. Cherry Evans to Lee Hapawade to Tom Trbojevic. Gets around a really poor defensive play from Xavier Coates. And Jason Saab has a free run to the try line. Daz, mate, I want to hear your thoughts about the Bulldogs' performance today. What are your thoughts? I want to hear your thoughts, my friend. I want to hear your thoughts. Big thought, man. Big thought, man. But asking your thoughts is always dangerous as well. Very dangerous. So 6-6 is the score with 17 minutes left of the first half. My thoughts is Galvin is him. Would you have said that if they didn't win that game in the end? Were you a minute and a half away from slandering him? Because although I think Galvin actually played a pretty alright game for the most part, especially with that try as well. But if they didn't get that try to Jethro Rinakama at the end of the game, I felt like he would be the scapegoat regardless. So were you preparing a hate speech for Lachlan Galvin with a minute and a half to go before they scored? Absolutely not. Yes, you were. I know you too well. So Ruben Garrick from the far right-hand sideline. And Garrick will not be able to curl it in. He misses the kick and it will stay 6-6. So that penalty ended up being pretty smart there for Manly because they are now tied up. They are now tied up. What time's Timmy Zoo fighting tomorrow, by the way? What time does he fight tomorrow? Because I may be able to stream that before I jump on for the Titans, Tigers, and Warriors Knights. Oh, that's right. Manny Pacquiao fighting as well. 10 a.m. No, but is that when he fights, or is that just when the main card starts? Surely it's not 10. Or is 10? No, it wouldn't be. It's probably going to be like 12, 12:30, isn't it? Australian time. No, it won't. I don't think it'll start 10 a.m. because 10 a.m. will be like you got to go back like what 15 hours or so. Where is it? It's not in Vegas, is it? No. Where is Tim Zoo fighting? It is in Vegas. Oh, there you go. So I think it's like, 14 hours behind Vegas? So Manly now, and Corey Waddle, he'll be 35 metres out, fit tackle. And they give it to Lou Brooks. This is a really good set here, 12 p.m. Yeah, probably roughly 12 or so. I might be able to stream that. And they're going to let this ball bounce, and it's going to be Jerome Hughes who gets back for this. He's going to get taken back in goal. Yep, good work, Manly. That's good work, Manly. Dropout coming up from the Storm. That's really good work. According to Sportsbet, 12:15. So, yeah, roughly 12:15. Yeah, fair enough. Is when they'll make the ring walks. Yeah, it all depends on the previous fights and how long they go, but it's a good guide. Oh, well, Fonz, unfortunately, you've done yourself a mischief, mate. You will be seeing a timeout. There is only one S in Storm, buddy, old pal, buddy. There's only one S in Storm. S, T-O-R-M, full stop, no S at the end of it. So a mid-range drop out there to the 30. That's an interesting one. And now Manly going to bring this ball into the 25. Bellyache is gone. When's Bellyache not gone? And that's going to be Takiaho who brings it to the 18 or so. This would be huge if Manly can score a try now. Jazz Tavanga off to Cherry Evans, then to Jake Trbojevic, who is 10 metres away from the line. Third tackle. They give it to Jazz Tavanga. Tavanga off to Cherry Evans. Bullimore, 5 metres out from the line. Fourth tackle. Then you got Jazz Tavanga. He'll give it out to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans at the back of Luke Brooks. It should be a try time! Mele! Tola goes bang! Try time, Mele. They go right on through, and it's 10-6 with a kick to come. Jeez, you knew as soon as they got that ball out to the left, you could see that there was a big gap opening up between the centre and the winger, and Tola just exploded through the gap, and it's a try time, Manly. Look at the gap right there. You could see it open up as soon as Luke Brooks got that ball. You could see the massive gap between the centre and the winger, and as long as Tola just ran a hard line, he was scoring, and that's exactly what he did. Nate says, "G'day Blaze, man. Loving the weekend at Bernie's shirt. You don't ever disrespect the Chicago Cubbies ever again, mate. I bought this in Hawaii. It's an unbelievable shirt. It's so comfortable too. It's so comfortable. It's expensive, but it was expensive. I think it was like $150 US or something. it was expensive, but it is very nice and very comfortable." James McPaul's Manly look up for this. Should be a good game. I said before the game, I said Manly fight for the season. Manly be up for this one. Do I think they win it? Maybe not necessarily, but I did say the copy and paste the Dogs game with the Dragons to this game, and both games have kind of gone down the exact same path that I thought so far. It's not an LA Angels shirt. No, it's not, Dasmate. It's definitely not. No, it's definitely not. Definitely not. Hey, Nate, how about those Dragons today? You reckon the short dropout was the play? So Ruben Garrick will get the kick. And it'll be 12-6 to Manly with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Jared Farmoni says the Cubs disrespect themselves when they play, to be fair. Do you realise how good we are this year? Do you realise how good we are? I think we've got the second best record in the National League. I'm pretty certain we've got the second best record. MLB. There we go. I'm gonna go tell you to go through yourself in a second. Give me one sec. So we've got a 58-39 record. The only team... We've got the best record in the National League, Mudda Bish. Don't you ever disrespect my team ever again. We have literally got the best record in the National League. Better than the Dodgers. We're 58-39 and they're 58-40. So get that one. Right up there. Right up there. Detroit Tigers are only a very tiny percentage above us. We are the second best record in the entire Major League Baseball, Mudda Bish. Deary me. So Manly now will get this ball to the 40. Has he got over the sideline? Yes, he has. Total quarter. Oh, it's a penalty. It's a penalty for a second effort here against Melbourne. Jai says the 2016 Cubs got me into baseball. A bit of Kyle Schwarber, a bit of buddy Harvey Byers. Got a little bit of Chris Bryant going on there, MVP. Got a bit of Anthony Rizzo, John Lester, Kyle Hendricks. Now we're talking. They're the guys, mate. That's the group right there. That's the crew. Yeah, can't reply to me now, Jared. Hey, reply to me now, Mr. Smart-Ass talking shit about the Cubs. We are literally like 0.04 percentage away from being above the Detroit Tigers for the best record in baseball this year. So you can, don't you ever disrespect the mighty Cubbies. Second tackle at the 50. Olivia Reed says Grant can stay in Melbourne after that. We're going to really define Grant here, Olivia. I know you're referring to Grant Anderson, but I don't think many people are realising you're referring to Grant Anderson. Because Harry Grant's not going to the Broncos. Fourth tackle now at the 33. Dasmate says, lol, on the Dodgers spending $1 billion on 2 players. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. We slapped the Dodgers. We slap them. We slapped the Dodgers. So now Manly put this ball up into the corner. Chance here. But Nick Meaney will grab it and he'll bring it out here to the 13. Nate says, where's the wild thing, Ricky Vaughan? Jared Farmody says, I knew it was coming, but good to see Cubs fans happy. Yeah, bit of humble pie for you, son. Get that in you. If these players aren't going to throw handbags, then I'm going to do it. 10 minutes to go here in the first half, guys. Manly lead 12-6. Hit that like button, subscribe. Decent little game here. Melbourne still looking shaky, as they have all season long. And Manly, they're up for a fight here. They're up for the fight. Ian says, get the Storm on scam alert. Mate, they lose this game and they are absolutely on the fraudsters. Scams too much, but the fraudsters, absolutely. But Manly grab this ball at 10. And Lehigh Hopewade brings it out to the 20, to the 25 on first tackle. I have no problems taking L's. I'm used to it, to be fair. Good. Cubbies. Go Cubs, go, mate. Go Cubs, go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are going to win today. Second tackle at 30. Desmond says they all don't compare to Mike Trout, Dennis Cook, and Troy Glaus. Thank you, Google. Third tackle. And now before tackle here at the 45. Wait, did you pick a couple of those? Did you pick up Troy Glaus and Dennis Cook from the Anaheim service station or what? Anaheim service station? Fifth tackle for Manly. Get the offload away on fourth tackle, actually. Lee Harbawada and Tom Trbojevic. And Tom Trbojevic does a little bit of a steppity route, gets away from a tackle. And, he had the pass to Luke Brooks through a hole, but he doesn't give it to him. Fifth tackle at 33. And they whacked that one up into the corner where it'll be allowed to bounce again. Melbourne aren't liking trying to catch a ball here. Sherry Evans kicks it through. The ball's an awkward kick, but it will be Melbourne picking it up at the 5 and brings it out of the 10 through Grant Anderson. Mike Trout, gee whiz. He's a wish version, say Suzuki, mate. Say Suzuki might be the greatest player of all time. Third tackle now at the 24. Now fourth tackle. Nate said, should have took the 2, mate. Well, they did take the 2, the Dragons. That's the issue. Ooh, hit the grass there. And grass with a big play. Now Sherry Evans grabs it. Melbourne have been rough to watch this first half. They have been rough. First tackle for Manly, 33 metres away. Sherry Evans. They go to Simkin and then to, I think it's Ben Trbojevic, 22 metres out, second tackle. Yeah, it was Ben Trbojevic. Now, Sherry Evans off to Ethan Bullimore, and Bullimore is going to be 18 metres away, third tackle. How dare you disrespect World Series MVP Troy Glaus? Mate, he is no Kyle Hendricks. He is just he's no Seiya Suzuki. Out to the left-hand side, Sherry Evans. Sherry Evans gives up the loop. Brooks, shoots at me! Ruben Garrick will score at 16-6. With a kick to come, and Manly coming in with the upset potential. Oh, Melbourne, what happened? Melbourne, what happened? What's happening here, Melbourne Storm? Manly. They've hit the grass too many times, hit the Storm today, and Manly have capitalised. 16-6 with a kick to come. They've scored left, they've scored right, they've scored left. They can score whatever the damn well they want right now, Manly. Score whatever they want right now. Get ready for the halftime spray, Melbourne. But they get sprayed even when they're winning. Mason Channel says, Big Ass Sports haven't been here in years. Well, welcome back, son. 7 minutes to go the first half. And Manly in the lead. Big surprise here. Dazmate says, these Melbourne arse-wipes are going to ruin my perfect tips and my joke around. Well, Daz, at the end of the day, mate, you are a Dogs fan. Oh! Did he get that? Yeah, he does get it. He does get it. Just. That was close to .com, though. But, Daz, you are a Dogs fan. You should want the Storm to lose because then you stay in second. If the Storm lose this game, you will stay in second, 2 points behind the Raiders, who do still have a bye and a much better points differential than you. But you stay in second. Up the wires and swap Manly with the Storm now. People wanted me to chat the fraud alert on right now. Well, I tell ya. You don't have to ask me twice soon enough. It's too early to be doing it right now, but it's coming up the wires. Don't you worry, it is coming. It is coming. Dasmate says I could care less about a minor premiership. Thank you very much, Daz, mate. Even though for about half the season we were hearing you talk about how important the minor premiership was. Now it's changed, Daz. Why has it changed? Garrick will miss a kick, 10-point game. Otherwise says, no, it's not over yet. I can see an upset, but I think Manly wins. Storm, I mean. Yeah, I said I can see the upset, and I tipped the Storm before the game, but I did say that it was the 1-12 Melbourne because I thought Manly would be well and truly up for the game, and they have proven that, just like I said, 1-12 Bulldogs, and because I said the Dragons would be well and truly up to save their season, and they were, until they decided to do a very typical Dragons thing, and blow the entire game up to pieces in the last few minutes, because they decided to go for a damn well short dropout. Incredible scenes. Incredible. As a neutral, like, I look at that and I go, if I was a Dragons fan, I would have headbutted a brick wall. I reckon I would have. I reckon if that was the Titans who did that tomorrow against the Tigers or something like that, or we were fighting for the top 8 and that happened, I reckon I would just not even say anything. I'd just get up and I'd just go head first into a wall. I'm watching that, what the Dragons did in Gutherson's decision making. So third tackle from Manly now to 35. Derek says Eagles win. I'd love to see it, mate. I'd love to see it. Jared Farmo, there's still a second half to go, so Melbourne have time to go crazy points-wise like they did on Manly round 5. That is true, but I think Manly are in a bit of a different point of their season where this is a must-win for them. And they will go into the top 8 with a win here and drop the Dolphins out and put the Sharks to 8th. But Sherry Evans whacks that one down to the 15 where Nick Maney will pick it up. 5 minutes to go here in the first half. I actually want to quickly have a look here at next week's draw. Round 21, Storm Roosters. Big game with the Roosters there. Wow. Cowboys Dragons. That's going to make me sick watching that. Penalty to the Storm there at 22. That's going to be an awful game. Broncos Eels, a big game for the Broncos to win. Warriors Titans. The Warriors have an awful record against the Gold Coast in recent years, but you'd expect the Warriors to win that over there in Auckland. Panthers Tigers. Yikes. Rabbitohs Sharks. What is next round, bro? We've got some bad games next round. Raiders Knights. Bulldogs Manly is a massive game next week. Oh my gosh. Well, especially if Manly win this. Actually, well, just Bulldogs Manly next week is a romper stomper of a game. The Dolphins get their bye next week, which is huge for them. But that is a romper stomper. Bulldogs Manly next week is going to be an absolutely insane one. So, Grant Anderson, we're just waiting for it. He's got a bit of an injury right now. God bless him. So, Melbourne storming out to 42, and it's going to be first tackle. This is the Manly form I've been looking for all season. Hopefully they don't clock off second half. I agree. I tipped them for 4th pre-season. I don't know what's happening there, Joe. I have no idea what I've just seen from those comments. Is that like one of those fake bot things? Dasmay says, no, the only important minor premiership ever won is 2012, in fact. Oh, wow. That year's Premier League rules, there was no final series. Whoever finished first won the comp. I think Storm won the year that year. I'm pretty certain I saw it. Did anyone else see the Storm win the grand final in 2012? I feel like I saw it. I feel like I might have seen it. I feel like I might have seen someone trying to bite someone's ear off too. Third tackle now at the 45. Aussie Moses says, why do the Titans play Sundays most of the time? Because that's a throwaway game for the NRL. I'm surprised they don't play more 3 p.m. games. Jay Jaboyevich, Trent Loiero. Jay Jaboyevich is shoving him back here. Oi, Biffo! Give him a slap, you bitch! Slap him! Slap him! Someone elbow him, for gosh sake. Give him a kiss and slap him. Show him who's boss. Come on. Now we're talking, Jay Jaboyevich getting into Loiero. Jay Jaboyevich fired up here. Fired up. Loiero didn't want to go back. Jay Jaboyevich is shoving him back. And they go for a bit of a shove up. Come on, you know. He saw Loiero call him a pussy. Jared says, I saw a big English ginger get hungry. A big English ginger get hungry and thought Billy Slater's ears was a Snickers bar. So, Sherry Evans and Harry Grant are getting warned right now as the captains. Come on, you know, we've seen 2 little handbags thrown. Let's see the third one actually means something. Jay Jaboyevich, just throw a headbutt, mate. Come on. You know what I mean? And then Dadsmate takes it to the next level by saying, show dominance and grab his cock. You know, like that's the different level of... You've got normal NRL fans, you've got Bulldogs fans. Normal NRL fans say, someone throw an uppercut, maybe give him a kiss. You got a Bulldog fan here, you say, grab him by the cock, show dominance. You know, this is the difference. This is the difference between the two. This is why I say Sydney's gone if the Bulldogs win the comp. Sydney's done. It will cease to exist. Third tackle here, 10 metres out, Harry Grant. And Nelson Asafa Solomona's 4th tackle, 4 metres out from the line, 3:46 to go in the first half. Harry Grant goes to a little quick scooty scoot. Try time, Harry Grant. That was a really nicely worked try. Ben Weaver's tried to duck back in to get the tackle, but he does miss it, and it is 16-10 with the kick to come. 16-10. 16-10 Manly, but a kick to come Storm from basically right in front. Really nicely worked try there from Harry Grant, and it's about to be 16-12. Jerry says, who scored that last try for Manly? I think Tolutau Koala. What did we learn there? None of them are an alpha male. Fair enough. Oh! Nelson with an elbow there. That's a bin worthy. It's a deliberate intentional bin at the beginning of that play as well. That honestly should be a bin based off of an elbow that was intentional. Oh, it was Garrick, was it, up the wires? I thought it was Tolotau Kuala with the last try. Oh, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, they may actually take this off. They may take this off him because of this elbow. Yeah, they're going to say this is a no try based on Nelson's elbow. They're going to say this is a no try based on Nelson's elbow. And I'd bin him. I would bin him because this is a deliberate action here. Yep. Oh, dude, bin him. Bin him, bro. Bin him. Yeah, it's the same play, Justin. It's the same play. It shouldn't be just on report, though. It's a deliberate elbow to the face. It's a deliberate elbow to the face. It shouldn't just be on report here. It's a penalty to Manly. It's a no try against the Storm, but that shouldn't just be on report. That should be a bin. He has deliberately come across with an elbow to the face. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough, NRL. You're not protecting your players. You are not protecting your players because he has deliberately elbowed him. It's like, I would never like to see... I don't like to see bins for fights, but I understand it. But, like, this is a very different play where there is not a fight happening. Nelson is elbowing a guy in a play where he can't protect himself. It's not a fight. Like, he's just turned around and elbowed him. So, penalty to Manly and Sherry Evans, who will kick this ball to the 20. Mitchell says, screw you, Nelson. No one touches my king, Jake Simpkin, and gets away with it. I'm catching the first flight to Melbourne right now. Yeah, Nelson's scared, mate. I think he messaged... Oh, so I got a message from Nelson. He says, meet me in Bali. Ah, yes. No, because Nelson's biggest hangout is Bali. First tackle out to 25. That's the man of the match back in the day. Absolutely. Second tackle here at the 35. Yeah, exactly right. They're literally talking about it right now. Simpkin has come off the field because of that elbow. I cannot believe that it hasn't been a bin for Nelson. Tolotau Kuala gets away from one and taken down to the halfway point. HIA for Simpkin. I just can't comprehend how that's not a bin for Nelson to suffer Solomona. 4 tackle, 42 metres away. They go out to Jay Trbojevic. Jay Trbojevic to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans at the back now to Lee Hapawada. Hapawada to Tom Trbojevic. Fit tackle now. 15 metres away from the line. Now 10 metres away. Fit tackle. Now Cherry Evans. He'll put that ball into a good area. This is great momentum from Manly. Knock it back from Manly. Knock on from Manly. Knock on. Tasman says, wasn't a bin in Origin, isn't a bin now, therefore it's legal. Hey, you make a valid point. Lomax should have been binned in Origin too, to be fair, but you do make a valid point. If Hargraves did that, he would get a week in jail. Hargraves would be put to the death penalty. He's got the electric chair if he did that. Yeah, Ben Trbojevic knocks that ball back. But does Kohler knock it on now? Surely. I would assume he does. It goes backwards from Ben Trbojevic. No, he doesn't, Bunker. You're an idiot. Anyway, so it's going to be Storm ball here at the 10. It's not a knock-on, but anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. Mitchell says Nelson should be shaking in his boots. Mate, he'll be quaking in his boots. Not just shaking, he's quaking. He's quaking, mate. He's terrified. He's terrified. All right, so Storm ball here at the 10. Been learning from Lomax. He's a big fan of Lomax, the old Nelson. A bit of brain explosion from Nas to cost your team that try. Come on, man, absolutely. It had no impact on the try. Had absolutely no impact on anything. But because of his silly action, yeah, Melbourne were taking away a try, and it was a fair try to take away. Nelson suffers on the money now. The 30 on third tackle. 2 minutes to go here the first half. Harry Grant goes himself. He'll be at the 35 on fourth tackle. John says, wow, oh no, he's done a mischief there. Stormy chance. There's only one S in Storm, Johnson. There's only one S in Storm, not two. We have rules here on the channel, my friend. You will learn, Johnson. You will learn. So Manly here at the 15. And Lee Hapawade to the 20 on first tackle. A minute and a half left here in the first half. Now second tackle, and we've got the Seagulls back out. You know Melbourne love a good Seagull. Amy, MCG, loves a good Seagull. Get the chips out. Throw some chips on the field. Third tackle at the 35. Jazz Tavanga, he'll get it up to Ethan Bullimore, and Bullimore to the 45 on fourth tackle. Oh, referee, stop it. What are we doing? Oh, 12-4-4 Sipley. Oh, it's a H. I thought he was telling him to go back on the mark, which was stupid. But 12-4-4 Sipley comes off for Manly for the next 15 minutes. But it's at half time, so the half time will take up most of that. But he comes off for a HIA, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine. 58 seconds left here the first half. Consider a 2-point field goal. It's probably a bit far for Manly, but they could consider it right now. Fit tackle 45 metres away. A 7-tackle set wouldn't mean anything. Here we go. Luke Brooks. No, he won't go for it. He'll just kick that ball up in the air. Good chase from Manly. A good take from Tyron Wishart, who's back and playing wing right now. Filling in for Grant Anderson. Savian says Manly will win by margin points between 11 and 20. Is that what your prediction was before the game, or is that your prediction based off of now? Because I don't recall many people tipping Manly before the game. Did think they would be up for it, but I just didn't think that they would win. So third tackle now for Melbourne. Harry Grant goes to Jerome Hughes. There's like 15 seconds left here. Quick passing. And they'll be taken down about 45 metres out from their own line. Fit tackle. 7 seconds left. 7 tackles left. And Jerome Hughes goes right. Then they whack it up into the air. They'll be offside for every... Well, they're going to let the ball bounce. Manly away here. Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic kicks it for Jason Saab. Jason Saab. Oh, no, there is a fullback back. I didn't realise the fullback was back with the attack. And now Melbourne are going to throw the ball over the sideline. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, there we go, guys. Half time, and it is 16 points to 6. Manly in a potential massive boil over here that'll keep Manly's season well and truly alive and actually put them into the top 8 if they can find a way to win this game, which would drop the Dolphins out of the 8 and it would put the Sharks into 8th position. And they would only be the 1 point behind the Panthers and 2 points behind the Broncos. So this will be a massive result here for them. And if Melbourne don't find a way to win this game, they will finish off the round in 3rd position. They will drop out of the home final spot in week 1. And they'll be looking at a away game against the Bulldogs in week 1 of the finals if it continues like this from 3rd. But all right, guys, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's go through the stats at halftime. Then I'm going to run off to the bathroom, and then I'll come back to the chat and see what you're saying. But all right, the Storm, possession-wise, 44% to them, 56% to Manly. That doesn't surprise me. Manly do look like they've had a lot more ball here. Time possession is 14 minutes and 18 for Manly, 11 minutes and 9 seconds for the Melbourne Storm. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, I've just seen the Storm's completion rate. I've just seen Melbourne completion rate. Oh my gosh. That is putrid. That is actually putrid. Craig Bellamy is going to uppercut every Melbourne Storm player in those sheds. Craig Bellamy is going to uppercut these guys. There is no way Craig Bellamy isn't just going in with a diving headbutt towards these players at half time. Dead set. That is outrageous. Completion rate for Manly. So anything above 80% is very good, guys. Anything below 78% is underwhelming. Anything below 70% is pathetic. Manly are at 95%, which is nearly perfect of a completion rate. 22 from 23. That is brilliant stuff from Manly. Brilliant. 95%, 22 from 23. Incredible. The Melbourne Storm are at 55%. 55% is horrific. That's probably the worst completion rate we've seen from any team all season long. 11 from 20 completed sets. Snicksar says, what's completion rate? Completion rate is your sets and when you're completing them. So the Storm have completed 11 of their 20 sets. So they're making a lot of errors and not completing their sets. And they're at 55%. That is horrific. You need to be at least at 70%. At least to be at okay, but not great at all. But 80% is where you need to be aiming for a very good completion rate. They're at 55%. That is horrific. Now, runs-wise, Manly 103, Storm 72. Run meters is 922 for Manly, 627 there for the Storm. So on a pure basis here, Manly are making about 300 more meters than them in the game. But if you want to try to equate it, these will update, but you want to try to equate it to give the Storm the same amount of ball as Manly are getting to try and figure out how the Storm are actually going toe-to-toe with them if they have the ball. It's just they're making a lot of errors. But there is a 31 run gap between the Storm and Manly. 10 meters per run on average would give them 300 310 metres. So 627 goes to 727, 827, 927. So very similar to the last game with the Dragons, where the Dragons were the same. The Storm, with an equation of 103 runs apiece rather than 103 or 72, would be 5 metres above Manly in 927 to 922. 927 to 922. So, and now it's actually 937 to 922. Sorry. So, yeah, look, Melbourne, when they have the ball, they're actually not doing too bad with the metre gains, but they're just not having the ball because they're making a lot of errors and not completing their sets. Then you've got the post-contact meters, which is 216 for the Storm, 296 for Manly. Manly probably just in front there, nothing too drastic. Hard metric to read to equate it, but I would say that even if you tried to equate the runs post-contact, they'd probably be about 270 for Melbourne, 270, 280, which is still about 26-16 behind where Manly are at. But Manly are still beating them quite well. Line breaks is 4-2 Manly. Tackle breaks is 12-7 Melbourne. So that's actually really good defence here by both these teams, especially Melbourne, despite the fact they've given up 16 points. They've only missed 7 tackles. Now, average set distance is putrid again from Melbourne. So 25 and under on an average set distance. You turn the stream off, the team was awful. It's not even worth watching. It's pathetic. 25 to 30 metres on average set distance is, you wouldn't even spit at it. It's disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is average, what you expect. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is perfect and an incredible first half on an average set distance. Melbourne are at 31.39, so that is extremely low on the underwhelming. They are not hitting the mark of 35 metres per set, and they are very close to being at the you wouldn't even split it at category. 31.39 is extremely low. Really underwhelming from Melbourne. And then on the average set distance for Manly, they're on the extremely low end, but of the great category. 40.13 is very good there for Manly. So it's not fantastic, it's not perfect, but they're making a good amount of metres every single set with the 40.13, and that's a 9 metre gap between what Manly are getting compared to the Storm. So you can see why Manly have dominated that first half. Now the average play the ball speed, 3.35 seconds for the Storm is pretty fast. It's nothing too fast, but it's still pretty fast, whilst Manly at 3.61, so they're taking a little bit more time, a little bit more of a slow to play ball. It is actually quite slow, yeah. But 3.35 is fast to average, but more so fast, edging fast. Offloads wise, 4-1 offloads from the Storm. Then you go to the kicks, 14-7 Manly. Forced dropouts is 1-0 Manly. Kick defusal is 80% for the Storm, 50% for Manly. And then you go to the effective tackle percentage, and like I said, the Storm defense was actually spectacular. Like as a collective, they've conceded 16 points, but their effective tackle percentage is incredible. So 75% and below is awful, horrific, disgusting. 75% to 78% is underwhelming. 78% to 80% is flatline marker, what you expect. It's average, it's good enough, and you're not complaining. 90% above is incredible. The Storm are at the Manly Seagulls are at 90.42% with 151 tackles made for 12 missed tackles and 4 ineffective. That's 16 bad tackles. That's actually really good across the first half. And obviously in the 90 range, 90.42, Manly's defense as a collective for the effective tackle percentage is spectacular. But the Storm are even better. They're at 95.26% with 201 tackles made for 7 missed tackles and 3 ineffective. They've only had 10 bad tackles in the first half. So it just means that their error rate, the errors that they're coming up with, is why they're losing this game. Because their defense has been unbelievable. 95.26% is unheard of. Like, that is unbelievable. And only 10 bad tackles with 201 tackles made. You're never complaining about that at all. That is really good stuff. But both teams defensively have been really good. Then you go to the error rate, and this is where the Storm are losing. 9 errors to 4. 9 errors is across a game, across the 80 minutes, 18 errors if they do the same thing in the second half, which would break the record this year for the most errors in a game. The most errors right now is equaled out by like the Knights, Cowboys, and Roosters at 17. We saw it from the Roosters the other night. 9 errors is appalling in the first half of the Melbourne Storm, and that's why they're losing this game by 10 points right now. And 4 errors for Manly. So 4 errors is not bad. Anything under 5 errors at a half is actually pretty good. So Manly are pretty happy. The Storm, disgraceful. 9 errors is disgraceful. Penalties conceded is 5-4 against the Storm, so a lot of penalties in this game. You're going to expect that in a game like this standard. And then ruck infringements. Ruck infringements is 2-0 against the Melbourne Storm, and on reports is 1-0 against Manly. But again, I disagree. I think Melbourne Storm should have had a bin as well. So to quickly summarise all those stats, Melbourne, extremely ill-disciplined and just the errors are ludicrous. The defense has been spectacular from both these teams, actually, on a effective tackle percentage metric. And then you go to the meters area, and the Storm are pretty much around the same area as Manly if they're getting the same amount of ball, but those errors are what's costing them. So they're not actually doing too bad when they've got the ball. It's just that they don't have the ball because they keep losing the ball. But Manly are dominating in all those other stats there, but the completion rate from Manly is 95% and Storm is 55%. So that tells you everything you need to know about this game. And if the Storm can turn this one around, then fair play to them, because they are in a pretty dark spot as we currently speak, waiting for the second half, because that is just a really, really poor stat of 55%. I haven't seen that for a very long time. But there you go. That's the halftime wrap up. Jaden says Bellamy will get the boys fired up. Storm 12, 1-12. Levi says Manly completion rate 95%. Wow, yeah, absolutely. Completely stark opposite between the 95% for Manly and the 55% for the Storm. Jerry says, has Ethan Bullimore touched the field yet? Yes, he has. He's been on the field. Jaden says Storm will come out firing. You'd hope so, mate. You'd hope so. Kate says, whole Storm finna be on a work site come Monday morning. Craig is pissed. Yeah, of course he would be. Deservedly so at 55% completion rate. Deservedly so. Absolutely deservedly so. Levi says, 40 minutes away from getting off fraud alert. Come on, boys. Well, Melbourne lose this game. They go on fraud alert, as Darcy has just suggested. Melbourne would go on a fraud alert. Manly would come off a fraud alert. So they would just switch. Melbourne would absolutely go on a fraud alert. They lose this game. And especially with the way that they're losing it too. Like, they are losing this really poorly right now. But guys, I'm going to quickly... oh, gee with me. Philip's done himself a mischief. Philip said, can the Storm come back from this? So you've been timed out, mate, because on this channel, there is only one S in the Storm. S-T-O-R-M. They're the only team with no plural at the end of it. But I'll still answer your question, Philip. Can the Storm come back from this? Yes, the Storm can come back from this, but they need to have a drastic change of mentality, because 55% comparatively to 95% is ridiculous. Like, not only are the Storm performing awful in regards to their completion rate, but it's not like Manly are just completing their sets. They are completing them at an extremely high rate of 95%. So Melbourne are awful, but Manly are playing some great footy too. Like, it's not like Manly are just coasting by on the back of an error count and on the back of Melbourne playing poorly. Manly are actually playing quite well. So there you go. Bradley says yes, but no. Are you saying yes, but no to Melbourne being able to come back? I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that stat line at halftime should be too much for Melbourne to come back from. But it is only a 10-point game. They absolutely can come back. There's no way that I would ever put my head in the sand and say, no, Manly have won this game. It's a 10-point game, 16-6, and the stats are all with Manly. The game can absolutely change around, but as Bradley said, yes, but no. Like, I don't think they come back from this. Darcy says, surprised to see the Bulldogs still on fraud alert despite their win. Did you watch the game? Did you watch the Dogs play that game? It's a good game, but with that being said, the Dragons should have had that game won. The Dragons should have won that game. They were up by 2. They went for a short dropout with a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go. The most ludicrous thing I'd seen. And it was just the most ludicrous decision-making from a leadership group that I'd seen in a very, very long time. It made me angry, and I'm not even a Dragons fan. And the Dogs found a way to win off the back of poor decision-making from the Dragons. I don't think that the Dogs have proven themselves comparatively over the last couple of weeks. They've beaten the Cowboys with 15 errors for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs had 15 errors last week. Cowboys lost with 17 errors. There was 32 errors in that game between those two teams. Week before that, to be fair, the Bulldogs lost the Panthers, but it was a very good game for the Bulldogs, but they still lost. And then this game against the Dragons, it's like, yeah, sure, they won, but contextually, if you're watching that game, I guarantee you right now that wouldn't have given a great deal of confidence to Dogs fans, in my opinion. It shouldn't have given a great deal of confidence to Dogs fans. Yes, they won the game, and I can understand that and fully appreciate the 2 points as the 2 points, but the way they got there was also off the back of poor decision-making from a team that has now killed their finals hopes completely. Do you know what I'm saying? Ayush says, who do you think wins this game? I've got Manly now, but I did say Manly to have a good cracker today. I did tip Storm 1-12 before the game. I thought Manly would be up for it, but I think Storm would be too good. I could still see that happening, but with those stats at halftime, I'm going to back in Manly from here. Jaden says, well, it is only 2 tries and they're back in front. Correct, but Manly have been very good in the first half. Darcy says the Bulldogs only needed to receive 56 against in order to win. Also, in regards to that Dragons game, I do think Tyrell Sloan's first try should have counted. And I also think that a call that ended up leading to the Bulldogs obviously getting a win did come off the back of a bad call where the bloke with the ball, I can't remember who it was, from the Bulldogs, was still getting up. He wasn't up. He placed the ball down. And they said that it was a penalty to the Dogs rather than a ball plant, where it's like the whole year long we've been forced into our brains that you have to stand up and you have to be up on your feet before you put the ball on the ground. It's on the responsibility of the attacker, not the defender, and they changed that decision here today, and ultimately the Bulldogs benefited from that against the Dragons. So there's a lot of context behind that Bulldogs-Dragons game. Yes, the Bulldogs did win the game, but they didn't do enough to get off fraud alert. And I wasn't even the one who put them on fraud alert. The chat begged me to do it, but they absolutely, for me, should still be there. What do you think of the Lions game after this game? Well, the Lions game's on now, isn't it? I'm pretty certain the Lions game is on now. Storm are back out in the field. The game is about to kick off for the second half. Hit that like button and subscribe. The Lions game's on now. No, I'm not going to do the last 15 minutes or whatever. Lions game, yeah, but I'm not just going to, nah. But hey, it looks like a good game. 10-5. 10-5, 33 minutes in. All right, second half is about to get rocking and rolling. Here we go. Irish says, I don't know how the Storm is losing. Well, if you've watched the Storm this year, you can definitely understand how the Storm is losing. They haven't been spectacular. They get massive wins, but they have faltered at stages too. And the Storm will bring this ball out here to the 10. But this is just a surprising turn of events from Manly, who have really turned their season around recently to start getting some big wins and put themselves back up amongst it. You know, like you look at the Storm season, they found a way to lose to the Dragons at one stage. They were up 22-2 against the Dolphins and lost 42-22 back in round 27. Round 7. Lost the Raiders, which is an understandable one. Lost the Sharks when they really shouldn't have been losing that game after a 64-0 win against the Tigers. And the Sharks were really poor at that stage of the year too. They struggled against the Titans of all teams. They struggled against the Rabbitohs of all teams. They struggled against the Cowboys, but then again, that was with players out and whatnot. If you've watched the Melbourne Storm this year, you can understand that this result was absolutely a possibility. It was absolutely a possibility. All right, so Manly now at the 13. Olivia says the Poms are singing. Fair enough. Now, second tackle for Manly. Second tackle, Manly. Jaden says, calm down, Jay Hayes. Why is Jay need to be calmed down? What's Jay done? 3 people just slapped him. 3 just slapped him. They playing Amy Park. Sure, Ayush, but again, the Storm have not been spectacular throughout this year in parts, and even when they win games, it's not always very convincing. All right, so Melbourne get the ball to 15. And they'll be at the 22 now. First tackle. A good short pass there, but a good run from Joe Chan to the 30. Jared says, Jay, too busy timing people out. They forgot to remind you about the scoreboard. Oh no, what's happened with the scoreboard? Okay, yeah, let me refresh it. Still got the halftime score. All right, now it's live again. Exactly right. See, now you're getting it, Jared. How about the laziness of Jay? Buddy, I tell you what. It's what I've been trying to say for a long time. He never reminds me. Oh, no, they've knocked the ball. Oh, well, it's going to be a knock-on from Manly, but that's very lucky because it was a drop ball from the Storm. Yeah, it's going to be Storm ball. Very lucky, though, that Manly knocked that ball on. Bunch of rogue mods. Absolutely, Mitchell. Absolutely rogue mods. We've known that for a long time. We know that. So knock on Manly. Why don't Jared and Jay just give each other a kiss in this chat right now? Look at the circle jerk. Hey? Look at the circle jerk. What do you think this is? This is an old grinder. So at the left-hand side, they give it off to Munster. Munster's going to be at the 30. Philip says, did Storm deserve to have that last try chalked off? Yes, absolutely. Nelson's lucky not to be in the bin. Absolutely. Yeah, no, Nelson should have been in a sin bin for it. It was amongst the same play, and Nelson intentionally turned elbowed a player in the face, so absolutely. And, not to mention, that the Manly player went off Jake Simpkin had to go off the field for a HIA because of it. 6 again here for Melbourne, 15 metres out. They give it to Nelson to Solomona. He'll be at the 10. He gives it off to Nick Meaney, and Meaney gets it across. Chance here. They get back to Nick Meaney again. And the thing about kicking it, Elias Katoa was waiting for it. Now they pass it across to the right. I don't know what Melbourne's plan is here. I think just take a tackle. Second tackle now 7 metres away from the line. Skunkle is the most rogue. Skunkle is so rogue that he's just too busy roguing. He's Rogan and Raiden. Raiden Rogan. Joe Rogan and Raiden. Alright, so Melbourne now 10 metres out. Disagree Doxo 4, but sure. I definitely think that Nelson $1,000,000% should have been binned. That was an intentional act as well. Jerome Hughes, short ball, Nelson, 3 metres out from the line, fit tackle. Now they roll that ball back. Harry Grant, that's on Harry Grant. Oh, what? They've called that a 6 again. I don't know how. Ruck infringement. Nelson rolled the ball back strongly into a Manly player who was outside the ruck. Manly player outside of the ruck. Nelson rolled the ball back into him. Why is it a 6 again? Anyway, there's a knock on from Melbourne, and that's their 10th error. They have completed now, I think, at 50%. Their completion rate, they're 50 from 24 now. They'll be 15 from 25, so they'll be under 60% again, Melbourne. Under 60%. Damn, Melbourne are playing really bad footy today. They're playing really bad footy. Now, look at the poll, for example. You know, we're getting closer to 500 votes here, and 77% to Melbourne. Like, that hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. Now it's 78% to Melbourne. You know, like, people are still backing in the Storm to win this game. So Manly are at the 13. 16 from 23. Oh, this is a different stat to what it has on the NRL website. Completion rate from Manly is 96%. They've only not completed one set. Now Jazz Tavunga off to Sipley. And he'll be at the 20. They roll it back to Jazz Tavunga. Not a great set here from Manly. Very lethargic set. And now 4 tackle here at 25. Okay, please don't spam it, Philip. We get you have a bet on it, but you don't need to spam it. Just give it us in one comment, mate. Same thing goes to the other bloke. Olivia says 10% tariff here for any bets. That is correct. But Lou Brooks will kick this one down the centre where it will be Nick Meaney who picks it up here at the 10. He rolls it back out now to Grant Anderson, and Anderson is going to be at the 25 on first tackle. Try using a paragraph. Oh, that's a milk. Get up, bro. That's a milk, yeah. Second tackle now for the Storm at the 30. Xavier Coates. This is a big rivalry game, so it's not a surprise that Manly are well in this game anyway. Like, even without their ladder positioning, like, this was always... Manly were always going to be... They'll never forgive. Manly will never forgive Manly for 2000... Manly will never forgive Melbourne for 2007. They'll never do it. No, he'll fine, Philip. Fourth tackle, Harry Grant, he'll get this ball to the halfway point. Now fifth tackle. Manly will never forgive Melbourne for 2007, and Melbourne will never forgive Manly for 2008. So... And then 2011 they both punched on. They've had a couple of near punch-ons in this game today. It'll just never... This is one of the best rivalries in rugby league. Has been for a long time. Alright, second tackle now for Manly, and they'll be at the 30. Larkin says, Dogs were shit, but ref loved the whistle blow in the second half. Absolutely, but you benefited greatly from a few calls there from the referee. Firstly, I believe Tyrell Sloan should have been given that try. And secondly, the ball plant where the Dogs player wasn't up onto his feet, played the ball onto the foot of the the Dragons player, and Dogs ultimately got a penalty from it. So I'm sure the Dogs fans aren't complaining about refereeing calls in that game. So they will whack that ball up into the corner. But the most controversial one was always going to be that no try in the first 10 minutes for the Dragons. So first tackle now, Jerome Hughes gives it out. And now they'll be at the 13. Again, though, like, the Dragons, they threw that game away themselves. That's why the Dogs haven't come up fraud a lot yet, because that game didn't didn't prove enough to do it. But if they win next week, then sure, for sure. But they play Manly next week. Bulldogs Manly next week is such an awesome game. That'll be a really good game to watch. Because Manly should be watching that game and thinking that the Dogs are very beatable right now. 4th tackle for Melbourne at the 25. Now 5th tackle at the 35. I need an apology from you, Jaden. What did Jaden do? I'm here for it, but I'm here for the apology, even though I'm not too sure what happened. And now that ball will go back to about 5 metres out. 5th tackle on Lee Hopewade. Will bring it out. Sofa Solomona comes off for Ativalu Lisati for the Melbourne Storm. Now, at least it was against the Dragons who don't know how to win. No, they literally did not know how to win. That Gutherson decision to take the short drop out was absurd. It made me angry. I went and posted on Instagram about it on my story. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, go follow me on the pinned comment. That's the Instagram for BKR Sport. I usually have a quick little say about games after the games finish and after the streams finish and whatnot. But yeah, I lost it. I was actually like annoyed at the Dragons' decision making. 4th tackle now for Manly at the 40. 30 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. 30 minutes to go. Manly still leads 16-6. And it's great that Manly winning keeps us clear at second. Correct, but you also play Manly next week. Alright, so the Storm now will be at the 10, and it's going to be Nick Meaney. And Manly have played a really good game here today. Melbourne have been awful, but Manly have played a really good game so far. Dr. Force, if we can get 2 wins in the next 4 weeks, I will certainly take that for Manly. I think I get where you're coming from on a normal level, but I think with the context of your season right now, being outside of the top 8, I think you need to win 3 or 4. I think that if there's only 6 weeks to go after this, I think you need to win 3 out of 4. You have to win the Roosters game if you don't. Oh, Jerome Hughes here with a great step inside at the 40, the 35, the 30. Steps again, but taken down to the 25. Good work by Lee Hopewade. 4th tackle. That was a great step from Jerome Hughes. Out to the left. They've surely got numbers. They kick it across. Where's the bounce? Storm ball. 8 metres out. Didn't really work out, but that should be 6 again, though. So, 1st tackle. Oh, yeah. Give Jay an apology, Jade. Cameron Munster. And he'll be 3 metres out from the line. 2nd tackle. Harry Grant. He runs it across to Trent Loiero. Loiero short ball to... Oh, God, Uktukamanu. I still don't understand how he gets such big raps as a rugby league player, Stefano Uktukamanu. It's another knock on. It's another incomplete set here from Melbourne. They're about to be 19 from 30. They're about to get back under 60% on completion rate. I guess Dogs vs Manly next week when it goes off fraud. Well, Manly's going to go off fraud if they win this game. And then if Dogs beat Manly, then Dogs will go off fraud and Manly will stay off fraud too. Dragons stealing defeat from the jaws of victory with 2 minutes to go. Correct. So Manly ball now at the 10. Matthew Lodge, 1st tackle. Stefano needs another rest from Origin. When's game 4 of Origin coming up, mate? Still waiting. Daz was telling me the Blues are in a dynasty, so I'm sure they haven't lost the series yet. 2nd tackle here at the 20, and they give it to Cherry Evans, and then Tom Trbojevic, and Munster gets him down at the 35. Sorry, 25. 3rd tackle. Cherry Evans to Matthew Lodge, and Matthew Lodge. Great post contact there to the 42. That was fantastic. Yeah, very serious channel here, Jared. People need to understand. Absolutely. And Lee Hopewade will get the offload away. Here's a good chance here. Ben Trbojevic. And he'll get taken out to 35. Oh, Jay, I was literally about to test you to see if you knew what I was talking about. I was going to say, can we deal with that? I didn't. It's funny that you knew what I was thinking before I even said it. Cherry Evans here. Great footwork. Puts it up. Knock on. And Jerome Hughes will get 0 tackle at the 18. Very serious channel, Olivia. Absolutely. You know, like, people keep trying to say, why does the ladder look like this? And I'm like, well, it's not my fault the ladder looks like this. The Titans have gone undefeated. That's not my problem. You know, that's not my problem. You know, take it up with the Rugby League NRL. That's not my problem. It's a very serious channel, mate. We don't joke around here. You know, it's a great team, the Gold Coast. Beat you to it, Slope Hope. Yeah, well, you know what? Beat off. 4th tackle now for the Storm at the 40. 4th tackle. Yeah, another rest from Origin makes sense there for Stefano. So Munster, he will get this ball to the 45 on Manly's side of the field. Beat off. Absolutely does. You heard me right. You heard me right. So Munster, 35 metres out. Sean Bloor, short ball. That's fit tackle, lads. Hey, at least they completed a set, but I don't know why they did that, but they completed a set there, Storm. Sure, though, you know, fair enough. Fair enough. I think you probably should have tried to kick that ball there, Melbourne, but, you know, each to their own. Each to their own. Yeah, Mitchell, probably not going to be seeing any of those anytime soon. Second tackle now for Manly. They'll be at the 35. Unless the Titans can win by 8 points tomorrow and get above the Tigers. Not get above the Tigers, get above the Rabbitohs, sorry. Titans win by 8 points tomorrow. The Titans go out of last place in the second last. So, you know, we'll be partying, that's for sure. The latter is actually not true. Titans have 19 wins, not 15. No, we took a few wins off just to kind of keep everyone in line and say, hey, listen, stop complaining. I know we're too good, but just, like, give it up, mate. We're doing our best. We're just giving it a crack. I don't know why my game's frozen. All right, fifth tackle now at the 30. Still waiting for a sleep stream. No, you got one the other week when the Knights played the Tigers or whatever it was. So Sherry Evans puts that one up. 15 metres out. Coates with a great grab, and he'll be taken out to the 20 on first tackle. 25 minutes left of the game. No change to the halftime score right now. Also, probably not much change to the kind of statistics we were seeing in that first half either. Nick Meaney, great run to the 45, third tackle. Melbourne, this is like... I don't know who to say wins the comp this year. Because the Raiders have looked shaky, but they're still winning games. The Dogs look shaky as fuck, but they're still able to win games. The Melbourne Storm are doing this. The Warriors have got a lot to prove. The Panthers have been coming back this season, but they're not doing against the big dog teams, like the big time teams. The Broncos make more errors than I ever did see a top 5 team error. I don't even know. Dolphins lost to the Knights a couple of weeks ago, but they're beating teams by 50. The Sharks have just come off a scam. I don't know who to say wins the comp this week. David says, I think fraud watch on the Storm. Oh, no, they're very close. I've got to wait for the game to play on a little bit first. But if they lose this game, they are well and truly on fraud alert. Well and truly. Sherry Evans. Oh, he's lost the ball, goes backwards. Now Melbourne can pick it up, Xavier Coates. And Sherry Evans grabs him before he gets away. No, they're going to say... this is a knock on Storm. They're saying the ball goes at the back here from Manly and Storm knock it on. The referee, Storm will challenge this. I think this will be a successful challenge and it's going to be Storm ball. Doxo force every team going to be on fraud alert soon. Sure, but Manly will go off fraud alert if they win this game. And... oh no, that just comes off of the leg of Corey Waddle, the hip. Everyone says, if we get another Panthers vs Storm grand final, just give up. I give up. I'll give up if that happens. I'm done. I watch every game of rugby league. Well, I ain't going to be watching jack nothing rugby league if it's another Storm Panthers grand final. It's just going to be Melbourne ball here, so it's going to be a successful challenge. Yep, that's still fine. That's fair contest with the ball. And Xavier Coates will pick that up cleanly. And then it will get taken down here at the 30. Willem says, should Bulldogs be worried for finals with this recent performance? What do you mean by for finals? Like, if you're saying to make the finals, then no. Like, they will absolutely make the finals. But if you're asking, like, what they'll do in finals, I think that they're still pretty much a guarantee for... the third week of the preliminary final. I don't think they're a guarantee for the grand final by any stretch of the imagination. But I still think they should be doing away with teams like the... oh, Broncos have beaten them twice this year, to be fair. Panthers are a tough one. Shit. I don't know. They're going to hope they don't play like the Broncos or the Panthers in week 2 because those two teams have beaten them this year. Third tackle here for Melbourne at the 20. But I would be concerned about the Dogs right now, yeah. Manuel says, I laugh if it's a Raiders-Wars final. The best grand final for popularity-wise and for attention of our great game of rugby league would be Bulldogs vs Warriors. It'd be a massive grand final. support-wise. So, forward tackle. That'd be a huge grand final, mate. That is the best case scenario for rugby league. Is if it was a Bulldogs versus Warriors grand final, but I don't think it'll happen. Munster, Jerome Hughes, out of the corner. That's caught in goal. That should be a 7-tackle set. I think Garrett caught that in goal, no? Oh, it's in the field play. Oh, I thought he was in goal. Raiders, Panthers final. I don't see the Panthers doing it. I think the Panthers are a bit of a facade right now, man. They haven't proven anywhere near enough to me long term, but we'll see. We'll see. Their next 3 games are going to be easy, and they're going to win 9 in a row. But then they play the Storm, they play the Bulldogs, and they play the Raiders. That's when I will start to take notice of them. For the time being, absolutely not. But I know you're a Panthers fan. You're going to say that regardless. But I think the people are just... Oh, Manly going to get a short dropout. I think Manly win this game. Melbourne have been dreadful today. They have been dreadful. Tasman says Broncos got lucky twice. Origin plays out and off night. Yeah, I actually agree with that. They did play the Bulldogs did play the Broncos both times. Origin. Yeah, you're right. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. The second one was Origin. The first one was full strength team. When you were undefeated and they went up 32-0 at half time. No, the first game wasn't Origin impacted. The second game definitely was. So Manly now bench Boyvich to the 40. Willem Rudd says the Titans to win 13 plus tomorrow. Yeah, the Gold Coast Titans will win 13 plus tomorrow. All right, so that will go out around the 10. Fun fact for everyone, the Titans have an extremely positive, good record against the Tigers. Like, it's wild to me. It's a fun fact for you. Tigers do not have a good record at all against pretty much anybody, but also the Titans. Titans have a better record against them than a lot of other teams too. And Melbourne are away here. Xavier Coates at the 20, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50. Xavier Coates. Oh, that is unbelievable. Leo Hawaii. What? That's absolutely insanity by Leo Hawaii. Xavier Coates has just been taken over the sideline from the middle of the field. Lehigh Hopewade has just taken Xavier Coates from the middle of the field to the sideline, and he's out. It's Manly ball at the halfway point. Manly win this game. Manly win this game, watch. Like, look at that. He's trying to push off him, but then Xavier Coates can't get his feet right, and Lehigh Hopewade just takes him over the sideline. Jason Saab comes in with the extra helping hand. That defense from Hopewade is spectacular. Absolutely unreal. Payne Haas dominated the Dogs. Sure. Dasmate says, first game was an off night, second game was Origin. Nah, that's not what you said, mate. I listen to what I want to listen to. Mitchell says, only as good as your last game. No. That's not actually correct. You're only as good as your performances against the Cowboys, Mitchell. Although the Titans have lost some big games to them recently, we've not lost 72-0 to them. So we'll be right. We'll be right, mate. Yes. Haven't lost 72-0 to them. 20 minutes to go of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. Don't forget, we've got 2 games tomorrow. Warriors versus Knights and Titans versus Tigers. If the Titans win their game by 8 points or more, they will go above the Rabbitohs. And the Rabbitohs will go into last for the first time this season. And the Titans will get off of the wooden spoon placing. All right, well, that's going to be a Storm ball now. And they're going to get this ball here to the 10. They flick it across. Harry Grant. And they're going to be taking down 8 mates out. 2 absolute snooze fest. Daz, mate, do you understand have you seen the team at the top of the table? You're second place, mate. You should be thinking about the team in first place. That's disrespectful, Daz. What do you think this is? For gosh sake, Daz, get serious. Get serious. Oh, 74-0 is where it's at. 72-0's rookie numbers. My bad, Mitchell. I apologise. I apologise for not speaking too much of the truth there. Third tackler at 35. I hear Lehigh is a strong dude for his size, and you see it right there. No, that was absolutely. Xavier Coates, getting him from where he was over the sidelines, insane. All right, so Munster kicks that ball away on third, and Manly bring it out of their own 10. Again, no change to the halftime score. It is still 16-6 Manly. 66 is a cooler number than 74 anyway. No, I agree, Mitchell. 66-6 was a great result for the Titans against the Warriors last year. Which is our last game against the Warriors. Actually, no, I think that we got to judge our decision-making based off of Warriors games. So, like, Titans last year won 27-24 and 66-6 in our last 2 results with them. How did the Tigers... Oh, they played last week against the Tigers. How did the Warriors and Tigers? How did that game go? Is that right? 4 tackling at 35? I'm sure the Tigers did pretty well. Sure. Luke Metcalf would have been good too in that game. So, Tom Trbojevic, he'll get a... No, he won't get away with the tackle, but he'll be taken out at the 40. What the hell, Mitchell? That was out of nowhere. No, I know what he's referring to. So, it's going to be first tackle here for the Storm, and they are at the 35. See, I tell you what, though, Luke Metcalf last week for the Warriors-Tigers game, I'm sure he would have had a belter. Hey, Mitchell? Second tackle. Yeah, here's a Katoa, and he'll be at the halfway point. Third tackle. Just because the Tigers had to face the wrath of Tanner Boyd, it's the greatest play of all time. And Storm at the 40. Fourth tackle off to Munster at the 45. And now they'll be getting an offload away. Hits the grass and McGrath, and Nick Meaney picks it up at the 40. And he'll be taken down to the 38, but he gets the offload away straight into the hands of Takiaho. Straight into the hands of Takiaho. Mitchell says no stream, which means it didn't happen. Valid. It's a surprise they haven't been doing all Tigers games this year. Tanner well replacing Metcalf. Yeah, I spoke about that on Instagram, Emmanuel. You know, people don't realise the Warriors are not a top 4 team based on attack this year. They're a top 4 team based on defence. And Luke Metcalf's been having a great year, but also he's the halfback, and you've got to look at the halfback when the attack's not clicking, and they were a bottom 5 team for attack, but the Manly Seagulls right inside Jason Saab, 20 metres out, third tackle. You've got to look at your halfback when the attack's not clicking. They were a bottom 5 team for attack all season long, so... You know, you've got to put that into the equation, and Tanner Boyd comes in, and he was able to score 36 points with the Warriors team, which is a good positive start. So I do like Tanner there at the Waz, and he's a good conversion kicker too. So Manly now at the 10, which has been a problem for the Warriors for many years now, inclusive of Metcalf when he was kicking. Brooks, short ball. They lost the ball. And Jerome Hughes away here. Jerome Hughes away at the 20, the 25. He gets it off here. Here's a chance for Melbourne at the 50. Grant Anderson, Ruben Garrett. Ruben Garrett at the 35, the 30. He flicks the ball all the way across. He's got Xavier Coates. Xavier Coates to the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. Try Melbourne! That was a spectacular try out of nowhere. That was a spectacular try out of nowhere, and this game is on, ladies and gentlemen. Xavier Coates on the left-hand side. That was a great chase from Manly, but they just couldn't get back, and Melbourne will bring themselves back within 6 points here. Wowee. Up the other end, Tolutau Kuala loses the ball in the tackle. Jerome Hughes at the 20. He does not have a pace. Grant Anderson against Garrett. Garrett does well to keep him in bounds. But at the 45, the 35, and then he realises that he's just not going to get there. And then he has to flick the ball all the way across to Xavier Coates. And then it just comes down to a corner chase. And Ruben Garrick has been sprinting to try the other side. And Xavier Coates gets the ball down in the corner. So here we go. 16-10 Manly kick to come. Tough kick here from the sideline, though, for Nick Meaney. And he will... Yeah, he puts it down. Yeah, he does. And it's a spectacular try from Coates, too. He knows how to do those really, really big dives, and he gets this one. All right, comment in the chat, guys. 15 minutes to go here. Game on. 14 minutes and 40 seconds left. Let me know in the chat who you think wins this one from here. It's a tough kick from the sideline. Xavier Coates tonight, 2 tries, 2 line breaks, 3 tackle busts, and 177 run meters. Incredible as per usual. The ex-Bronco. Let's see Tanner against a competent team. I could look good against the Tigers at halfback. Don't ever disrespect Tanner Boyd again. It's the greatest kicker you ever did see. He does not miss. He does not miss. Does not miss, mate. Come on. Seriously. All right, so Nick Meaney here from the far left. Very difficult kick here. But he would bring it back within 4. 150th game for Nick Meaney. And, it's going to hit the post and misses it. So it's a 6-point game. Well, knowing this rivalry and how deeply entrenched it is into the minds of these two teams and their fan bases, it does deserve an extra time if you can see Melbourne tie this game up. Like I said, Sam Walker does not miss. I've literally made him miss. I've quite literally made him miss. Me. So, thank you for your opinion, but your opinion is unfortunately incorrect. All right, 14 minutes to go here. 6 points the difference. It's a good atmosphere there at Amy Park right now. You can hear it. It's a great atmosphere. Golden point game, maybe. I hope so. That'd be awesome to finish off a Super Saturday, because that last Dragons Bulldogs game was great. And then if we can get a golden point game here, that'd be awesome. Ibrahim Santana left the Titans because he had to give other teams a chance. Absolutely. Look at him. You know? Look at him. Sickening. It really is sickening. It really is. All right, so Cameron Munster, he'll give this ball off to Josh King, and Josh King will be 13 metres away from the line. 14 minutes left of the game. 6 points of difference. That was the first score of the second half. Very tit for tat outside of that. Now Melbourne at the 15. Second tackle. Harry Grant off to Lisatu. Lisati? Ativalu Lisati, that's right. Third tackle at the 22. Manly, you are fighting for your season. It's not do or die. You won't die if you lose, but you are fighting for your season right now, and you are holding out. This could be a carbon copy of the previous game, by the way, if Manly do find a way to lose this. It would be a carbon copy. Manly now at the 20. And they'll bring it out to the 30 through Ruben Garrick. And now back to the 25. He gets dragged back by Joe Chan and Eliasa Katoa. Luke Brooks off the Tonatau Kuota. And Kuota will bring it out here to the 35 on second tackle. Second tackle. They can't go into defensive mode though, Manly. They just have to keep playing the footy they've been playing all game. Ethan Bullimore on third tackle. Rolls it back to Jazz Tavanga. Nearly a mistake there from Takiaho, but Takiaho gets the ball out here to the 48 or so on fourth tackle. And Lee Harper-Wade looking for a gap straight at the middle, and it's going to be fifth tackle at the 40. Manly fans, you would be on the edge of your damn well seat right now. You'd have no nails at this point. And Storm grabbed the ball through Grant Anderson, 12 metres out. And there's an injury here in back play. Who was that? There was an injury in back play for Joe Chan. God bless him. He's grabbing at his arm. I don't know what happened, but just something out of nowhere happened just then. Maybe as there's contact. I'm not too sure. So third tackle now for the Melbourne Storm. Now fourth tackle at the 30. Keep voting in that poll. We've got 75% have voted for Melbourne. To about 600 votes now. Keep voting in the poll. And Jerome Hughes will kick this one down to the corner, but it won't be enough to get a 40-20. Sits up on the point, and Lehigh Hopewade, he'll come out to the 30, rolls around, he's trying to find a gap, he gets taken down to the 32. Melbourne really trying to muscle up here with bringing the players back once they make the tackle, rather than just making the tackle and letting it play out. They are really trying to drag them back and gain as many metres as they possibly can, which is not something that they've been doing all game today. Jason Saab rolls it back to Cherry Evans, and then Tom Trbojevic with a pretty basic run that didn't really do anything. Third tackle at the 45. Yeah, Manly are playing super defensive right now. Fourth tackle at the 40. 10 minutes to go now of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. 10 minutes to go. Lee Harper-Wade goes at himself. He'll be 30 metres out. Now, for the last play on that last set, tells you anything, you need to end up kicking this ball here. Tonatau Kuota, Luke Brooks. He whacks it down. Manly coming through, but Nick Meaney, sorry, the 10. He will grab it. 10 minutes left. Jesus, sickness is brutal. Second tackle at the 15. Now Melbourne will get it to the 20. Joe Chan is a right now. That's a penalty. That should have been a penalty there against Corey Waddle. He clearly brought down Joe Chan. And Harry Grant brings it out to the 32 on fourth tackle. Who are the field goal kickers for Manly if they do get a chance to... Like, Cherry Evans can kick a field goal. Is he the only one? I think he might be. Has Luke Brooks ever kicked a field goal? Mitchell, you'd know as a Tigers fan. Did he ever kick a field goal for you guys at the Tigers? And Ruben Garrick will bring it back here to the 25. I feel like there's nobody else. Because Tom Trbojevic has never done it. There's no way Lehigh does. Well, that's what I'm trying to think, Dr. Four with Brooks. I'm seeing if Brooks has kicked a field goal for the Tigers before. That's why I'm asking Mitchell, who's a Tigers fan. That's the only other one that I could think would go for it. Unless Jake Simpkin has it in his locker. Which is another time I would ask a Tigers fan the question, because they're both from the Tigers. Fourth tackle, Cherry Evans up to Takiaho, and Takiaho now will get this ball to the 45. Potentially Garrick, but that's just based off of his conversion kicking. And now Luke Brooks will whack it down to Nick Meaney, and Meaney to the 20. They need to start getting a move on here, Melbourne. I know it's only 6 points, but they've got to get a move on. He's kicked like 1, 2. Just in general in his career, has he kicked one at Manly? Or is it, no, surely not. Surely it would have been Cherry. I feel like Cherry Evans would be the one to take it regardless, but if he gets locked down, you need somebody else in the vicinity. Third tackle now for Melbourne. And it's Munster. And the Storm will be 45 metres away on fourth tackle. Mitchell says, wouldn't rely on him in the slightest. Logan says, Brooks has kicked 3 field goals in his career. Okay, well then definitely not him. You just go Chez. Fifth tackle here at the 30. Well, for the Storm, like they've got Jerome Hughes, but he's not normally their guy. It's usually little mum and little puppy Ryan Pappenhausen. And Xavier Coates! Oh, out of nowhere, he scored. Xavier Coates with a hat-trick today has just scored out of nowhere, bro. Dude, who was the Manly player who barely went up for that? We are going to a field goal battle here, ladies and gentlemen, because they should be getting this kick here, Melbourne. 16-14 Manly with a kick to come. Jerome Hughes, out of nowhere, just gets up and at him at the 10 metres. Ruben Garrick, leave it high, hopper wide. Nowhere close to be able to get that ball there. And Melbourne just finding a way to keep themselves in the game, and they've just found a way to probably send us to a field goal battle for this last 7.5 minutes plus extra time potentially. Xavier Coates, what a player, man. Hat-trick number 9 for Xavier Coates. Jared says, anytime Coates scores a try, I feel some sort of trauma. Yeah, Warriors fans would always feel trauma from Xavier Coates, that's for sure. That is for sure. What a game. What a Super Saturday we've had here. Bulldogs-Dragons was a brilliant game. Manly versus Melbourne been a brilliant game. This is the back end of the season, and everything's important, man. Midway the point of the season, you'd probably expect Melbourne and Bulldogs to run away with it, but when teams are fighting for their season, both the Dragons and Manly gave it a crack. But Nick Meaney here, it's an important key to get. It's out to the left-hand side, not too far out. We probably should get it, and that's exactly what he will do. It is 16-16 with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go here of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. They are missing Ryan Pappenhausen and little puppy for the field goal takeover of the Storm. But I think they'd be pretty confident behind Jerome Hughes, maybe. Can someone check how many field goals Jerome Hughes has kicked? Because again, the Storm will always rely on Pappenhausen. Regan says, who you going for? You going for Manly? I'm going for either team, mate. I'm a neutral here. I watch every single game. I enjoy rugby league and passionate behind the sport, and I just enjoy good games, and this is a good game of football. Teddy Tarek says, no one's saying anything now. What do you mean no one's saying anything now? I'll say it. What do you want me to say? I'll say whatever you're telling me I'm not allowed to say. Second tackle now for the Storm at the 20. Like, this is still absolutely a fraud game of the Melbourne Storm, if that's what you're debating. Like, that just because you've come back in this game, if this is what you're suggesting, the Storm absolutely have looked horrible today. They've got a completion rate of 66% with a 28 from 42 completion rate and 14 errors. They are 3 errors away from going equal with the worst error-ridden teams in the competition this year, which is the Roosters, the Cowboys, and the Newcastle Knights. So I'm very much sure that you're not debating that the Storm have had a fantastic game here and that people are wrong to have assumed the Storm were actually very good here today. So the Storm will kick this ball down. So is that what you didn't want us to say? Because that's still absolutely relevant, if that's what you're suggesting. Ruben Garrick now at the 25, first tackle. But if you get the 2 points, you get the 2 points. That's great, but you can absolutely still criticise them for the way that they've played. And Craig Bellamy will be the first person to tell them how they've played today. Absolutely. So second tackle now for Manly, and Jazz Tavunga's going to go out to the right-hand side. Sherry Evans to Jason Sarvin to be third tackle here at the 35. 5.5 minutes to go here, tie game. Alphonsus Eagles should win bingo. Well, it's a close one here. Oh, please tell me, TD Tyrox. Please tell me where I was incorrect with that statement. Forward tackle. And they'll give it out to Jake Boyovich. Then it's off to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks off to Lee Hopewade. And Hopewade gets it out here to the left hand. Wow, how has he caught that without going? How has Garrett caught that? Oh, Jerome Hughes never kicked a field goal in his career. So who kicks the field goal for the Storm? Maybe Nick Meaney then. Maybe it has to go to Meaney, but that's only based off of his conversion kicking. That's a penalty. Yeah, that's a penalty. That's so dumb from... Is that Takiaho? Is that Takiaho? Who was it? Was it Cherry Evans, mate? No, it was Takiaho. Yeah. Cameron Munster. Munster's not really a kicker, though. He's not really a field... I haven't seen him go for a field goal, and he's not a good conversion kicker. I don't know. Why have you gone quiet to you, Tyrox? Lagan says, Hughes has never kicked a field goal in his career. Cam Munster has only kicked 2. Oh, so he's kicked 2. So it would go to Munster before it went to Hughes, but maybe it must be Meaney. Must be, because, again, Manly have chairs. You get around your pool, Titans will play tomorrow. Be a big game. We'll be live for it. Titans versus Tigers. And then we've got Warriors versus Knights. If the Titans win by 8 points or more, they jump out of the bottom of the table. 4.5 minutes to go here. Melbourne are going to get within range here for a field goal. But again, we're debating right now who takes the field goal. They're at the halfway point. First tackle. And there's still time for Manly, even if they get the field goal. We will be live for both those games tomorrow. Second tackle. Well, that's a bold statement, Regan. Best field goal taker ever, Cherry Evans. That's a bold statement. Josh King at the 30. Yeah, he is a good field goal taker, but best ever is wild. Cameron Munster. I'm probably taking like a Kipper Cronk in that situation. Or a Jonathan Thurston or someone like that, but sure. They go to the right-hand side, and now Trent Loiero gets an offload by Nick Meaney. It's 4th tackle here. They're 20 metres out. And knock on to Tuikami Kamita. Knock on from the Storm. Craig Bellamy's flipped his fucking mind. Craig Bellamy's walked out of the room. Craig Bellamy has walked out of the room here. You still happy, TD Tyrox? There's a reason why he's this angry. Because this is about to be your 16th knock-on for the Storm today. It's about to be your 16th knock-on. They're going to challenge this, and of course they are. But if this is an unsuccessful challenge, Manly are going to get the ball to hit the 20. And this is the issue. This is why people are criticising him. And it's valid. It's valid. And that's why Craig Bellamy is flipping out. Because all they need to do is complete their set and then go for a field goal from literally 20 to 30 metres out in front. That's all you had to do. That's all Melbourne still had to do. But instead, they got a little bit too tasty with it, a little bit too spicy. Passed that to a big front row forward, 15 metres out. And unfortunately, he's going to knock that ball on there. So they're going to look here at this tackle here from Jazz Tavanga, Trent Loiero. No, there's nothing wrong with that tackle. There's nothing wrong with that tackle. Nick Meaney at the 15. He'll throw the ball across here. Please deal with that, JD. And he's going to knock that ball on. Yeah, unsuccessful challenge. So Manly with the ball hit the 15. This is why we criticise. This is their 16th error today, the Melbourne Storm. This is their 16th error. All right, so 20 metres out of their own line, Manly will get the ball. Jared says, DC does have the ability to kick off both feet with good success. DC is a good field goal kicker. Best of all time, though. Like, I'd be trusting someone like Jonathan Thurston, Kipper Cronk, and whatnot before I'd be trusting Cherry Evans. But Jez is a good field goal kicker. Don't get me wrong with that. All right, first tackle here for Manly. They got to the right side. Tom Trbojevic to the 40. Great run. They're going to be within range now at the end of the set, you would assume. 42 metres out from their own line. Jason Saab will get to the halfway point. Third tackle. Comment in the chat who you going for, Manly or Melbourne. Comment in the chat. Jazz Tavanga, he'll get it out to Takiaho, and Takiaho is 45 metres away. Fourth tackle. You will be within range for a field goal, but the issue is Cherry Evans has run the ball on fourth. What? Why would Cherry Evans run the ball on fourth? Luke Brooks here for a field goal! Oh, he's missed it. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. I don't understand why you would give the field goal to Luke Brooks and not Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans was the runner who ran the ball on fourth, so it's 7 tackle set, and it's like whatever, but why is Luke Brooks the first choice field goal kicker here? Are they going to challenge? Yeah. Manly believe there's dangerous contact on the kicker. They've challenged this. So there's a challenge from Manly. This would be a 2-point penalty from 40 metres out. Oh, this is a penalty. This is a penalty, Manly. Harry Grant runs into the kicking leg of Luke Brooks. So they're going to be 40 metres out with a field goal opportunity. Abinaya says Mafia game. It's correct. It's a penalty call. Oh, that's right. It's a penalty in front with that call. It's a correct call. It's a correct call. He runs through the kicking leg. That's what it is. That's the rules. That's the rule. That is the rule. You might hate it, but that is the rule. Luke Brooks goes to the field goal, and Harry Grant runs through the kicking leg. But no, it's scripted. You don't know rugby league. This is the rule. You're not allowed to come into contact like that with the kicker. And that's why it's a penalty. You may hate it. Again, you may hate it. You can cry until the cows come home, but this is the rule. 2.5 minutes to go of the game. This is a rule that they implemented recently. This is a rule. You cannot do this anymore. You cannot run through the kicker's leg. There's 2 minutes to go here. There's still chance here for the Melbourne Storm to come back and win this game or to tie it up and send it to extra time. But that is the correct ruling on that call. Mendelssohn Seagulls for the win. Well, they're going to be up by 18-16 because this kick is from right in front. This kick is from right in front. This will be their only points in the second half as well. No, I agree with you, Taz, about what's he meant to do. Sit there and watch him kick it. You're not necessarily wrong in your thought process, but that is the rule. Like, it is the rule. So, again, Melbourne fans are going to hate it, and I can understand your viewpoint. Your perspective is not incorrect, but the ruling is you cannot contact the kicker's leg and run through the kicker's leg because it is classed as dangerous contact. All right, minute 41 to go here of the game. It's 18-16 to Manly. Jared says, oh, yeah, forgot penalty in front from where the ball lands, right? No, it's just penalty directly in front of the post, 20 metres out. All right. So, minute 41 to go here. The Storm are going to go for the short kick. And Storm get it. Xavier Coates. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Do they consider a 2-point field goal? I don't think so with no Pappenhausen. Vertigo, correct. Correct call, terrible rule. Agree. Correct call, terrible rule. Thank you. So first tackle now, and Josh King is going to be 43 metres out even the line. A minute 22 to go. This is their chance. If Manly give away a penalty, we go to extra time. If Melbourne score a try, then here we go. Chancey, Nick Meaney. Meaney gives it out to the right side, and they're going to be 25 metres out from the line. Third tackle. And Nick Meaney is 20 metres out and 4 tackle. 1 minute to go here of the game. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes at the back. Left-hand side. Knock on, Storm. Manly win. Knock on, Storm, and Manly are going to win this game unless they make a mistake. 50 seconds. That's going to be it done. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a new fraud alert. And Manly are going to come off the fraud alert. They get the win. They will get the win here. Melbourne fans are going to complain for a long time, but at the end of the day, it's the correct call. Terrible rule, correct call, as Vertigo said. Ronald says, I'm a Melbourne fan, but going for the Manly tonight. Well, that makes no sense. Jared Farmoni says, Manly was screwed by this rule last year. If I remember, against the Wars, and they got a draw. I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. 4th tackle now for Manly at the 30. 12 seconds to go with the game. Melbourne weren't good enough to win this game today. They weren't good enough. They had 16 errors in the game. 16 errors. That is 1 error away from what the Cowboys have every week. Roosters, Newcastle Knights, these kind of teams. You can't win games with that many errors in rugby league. 16 errors is ludicrous. And there we go. The game is over. The Melbourne fans will boo. I don't think they understand that was the correct call. Look how dejected that. This is scenes here in Melbourne. There's scenes here. They're booing loudly here. They don't understand it's the correct call. It's controversial, but it is the correct call. It is super controversial, but this is what happens, man. And Manly now, they will push themselves up into 7th position with this massive win at Amy Park. Cronulla go down to 8th, and the Redcliffe Dolphins will drop out of the top 8 into 9th position. And guess what, Bulldogs fans? You should be happy because even though the Dragons gave you that win, you are now in 2nd position because the Storm don't win to go back above you. They will stay in 3rd position. Sean James says, like always, made a good call for the game today. Shit happens, rules are rules. Absolutely. You know, it's a tough one to swallow. It's a very tough pill to swallow there for the Melbourne Storm fans. It's not like they haven't received some beneficial calls over the last ever. But yeah, you know, this is sport. This is sport, and unfortunately, he did make a decision, and he went to try and block the kick and put pressure on, and he runs through the kicker's leg, and that is not allowed to be happening anymore. It's just not. Jared says you can blame Freddie Lussick for this. Agree. Lagan says, Dogs, Rabbits 2015, Bad Friday all over again. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Huge Bellamy going to have an aneurysm. Yeah, well, especially when Tui Kamikamica knocked the ball on. Not even his fault, but Kamikamica knocked the ball on 15 metres out from right in front. And the Storm were, a chance to kick a field goal from 20 metres out. I don't know who would have kicked it, but they had a chance to kick a field goal from 20 metres out and be up 17-16, but instead they knocked the ball on. Manly got up the other end of the field, end up getting a penalty from a missed kick from Luke Brooks. So there you go. But all right, guys, I appreciate you. I'll be live tomorrow for 2 games, as we have the first game, which is, I think, the Titans game. Yeah, the first game is the Tigers versus the Titans at Leichhardt Oval. If the Titans can win that game by 8 points or more, they will jump out of last, and the Rabbitohs will actually go into last. If the Tigers can win that game, it doesn't really change much, but they do jump out of the bottom 4 for the time being. And then the other game is the Newcastle Knights and the Warriors. The Warriors are fighting for their lives in that top 4, as the Broncos and the Panthers are breathing down their necks currently. Very much so if the Warriors lose. And then the Knights, obviously, they're trying to get out of the bottom 4 as well, and they will, with a win, would get out of the bottom 4. But all right, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I appreciate you for tuning in as always. I'm going to kick back, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.